He'll be all right, man.
That man, this man Keon hit me up early today about the pod,
Okay.
and then he hit me up again and again and again. I love it.
That hustle.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it, man. Absolutely.
hustle.
What's happening? What's happening? What are we doing? What do we got to do?
He's
Yeah.
like Spider-Man.
Nah,
Damn.
yeah, Keon been
And
getting it, man. Keon been getting
He's
it.
like, when is my mission? When is my mission? When is my mission?
Yeah, it's a good comparison.
It is.
I like it.
Episode 35. 35, baby.
Oh,
Live.
35.
35.
I get to be number 35.
Kyra, how you doing? It's been a while since you've been up here.
Kevin Durant.
I know I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I've been chilling for like the past 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I started school on Monday, so yay.
Hey, welcome back. Your first podcast of the new year. I know you well rested.
I am. I've
Yeah.
been watching a lot of television.
The last time we was on the podcast together, I think I was wearing the full Grinch costume.
Oh, that's
Idea.
when we got an argument that day.
No, that wasn't that one.
It was a heated. Oh wait,
No.
that was the next one.
That was
a
the one
heated
before. That was one before. That was December 1.
Dang, you remember
Yeah.
the day?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That was a life-changing moment for you when we got in an argument.
That was
was a
December
big
1st.
deal.
I knew it because I cut the episode entirely and then threw
You
it up.
did?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, good.
Well, no, I ain't
I don't want people to
that
feel
part.
like
that part I cut.
Thank
But
you.
the rest of it was
I mean, I
rest of it was
stand by what I
salvaged.
said, but
But enough of that right there. All this good friendly banter. Daz, what's going on with you?
I'm in the house.
We got a special guest, everybody.
I'm nervous.
Nah, you ain't nervous. Nah, you
I'm
far
always
from
nervous.
I'm
nervous.
so nervous.
I'm always
but I'm
nervous.
You've
Always
been doing
Nervous
podcasts longer
but
than us
relaxed.
combined.
Maybe a little bit now. I'm not a champ yet, but I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Hey man, I tell you right now, Dez has already blown my mind before this podcast has started.
Me too.
Already gave me a consultation. I'm still waiting on the
I
other
told
half of the
Jenny.
consultation.
I told Jenny too.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, this man Dez about to change lives out here.
That's my goal. That's
Kind of like a
that's the
big
whole
deal.
goal.
Right?
Trying to be.
Yeah.
Kind of
Trying to be.
big
I'm not a big deal yet, but I will be one day.
He's like, I have the blueprint. I know how to do it.
Not the blueprint, but I got a clear direction.
Got you.
We're gonna talk about that clear direction today, man. But once again, welcome to the pod.
I like it. I like
Yeah.
it. Good group of people here, and I like what you're doing. Especially, since it's I'm gonna drop it veteran driven.
Thank you for your service.
That's one thing I appreciate giving back to veteran
You're welcome,
companies.
America.
So you got a lot of talented people in our veterans that
Mhm.
people really don't realize because it gets covered by a lot of stigmas of what they're doing and how they're doing it, etc. But I like seeing this.
Yeah.
Because myself, my company's veteran-owned company and stuff like that as well. I try to do a lot of work with veterans as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a big thing that needs to happen more, and it just needs to happen more. I mean, I don't want to go like all crazy into that too early into the podcast. But
Yeah, because I got some parts of that I'll love to talk about, but we'll let that organically come back up.
yeah.
But man, so you've been podcasting for a while now yourself, engineering, all that.
So I've been podcasting. I think it's 2 years now.
Not going, you're good.
See, that's a rookie move, right?
Yeah.
You can't watch the podcast while you're in the
I'm not the
podcast.
professional, sir. I am not the professional.
That's what you got Keon here for.
We'll get you right though. It's okay. No.
She's gonna be all
Go
right.
ahead,
America.
edit that out, Kim.
Yeah, you live, baby.
But I can't just talk about the podcast because it's like my story yada 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 is so since you asked me about my story where I came from, I guess I'll start there.
Yeah, let's start with that right there.
So,
introduce you to a new audience.
So Desmond Ferris, that's a government name. I was born in Michigan but grew up in California. I was a military brat. Dad was in the Navy, so grew up in San Diego, best city ever.
It's a beautiful city.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a beautiful city.
That weather,
Yeah.
man, I
You
miss
can't beat
it so
it.
much.
Just like they missed the Chargers.
Dang.
Come on now, baby.
Damn.
Baltimore don't miss us being there, right?
Yeah, just like
but-
New England.
Oh, God.
All right.
Go on, baby. Go on,
Jesus
go on, go on.
Woo,
This man is just
it
trying to
got-
tell his
It just got
story.
heated real quick. See, make me storm off like Birdman.
John,
Yeah,
Put some
all,
respect
on
on
it.
all three of y'all.
or is you finished?
but ultimately, I was an average student. I mean, not average student, but I was very motivated and always did a lot.
Right.
Working class family, wasn't poor,
Mhm.
but just working class family. and graduated 2.5 high school. You know, nothing crazy. Always knew I was gonna go in the military. I was Army ROTC and stuff like that.
You knew that because of your background with your parents.
My dad, and then just growing up in San Diego, military town, and then ROTC just called me, and it was just like I always knew. And then, you know, and then 9/11 happened. I was in college. It was in my freshman year of college, and it was like, yep, I know what's gonna happen. I knew at that point I was gonna serve. So a lot of other stuff happened. You know, left that school, went to a community college, yada yada. Went to the Army recruiter and was like, yeah, I'm thinking about joining because I was Army RTC, and kind of pissed me off. So I was like, all right, forget you. And my best friend, who's like the smartest, laziest guy I know, he's the dumbest smart person I know.
Yeah, I got a couple of those too.
No, I'm talking about like, okay, so I'm gonna give a shout out to my boy John. Okay, he's like my brother. We've been best friends for over 25 years. Like that's my brother. He specifically said he didn't want to go to college, right?
Right.
So he went to the military recruiter's office, and I went with him because I had a military background and didn't want to get screwed over. I was like, I'll take the ASVAB with you. Take it, did it. You know, after working a 12-hour shift, I scored like in the 70s or something like that. You know.
You said after a 12-hour shift?
Yeah, because I was working at 24-hour fitness at that point.
Okay. Damn.
So I did that, and then of course,
That's a lot of fitness.
Of course, I got the question. What are you gonna do? What are you doing? I wanted to be San Diego PD, but you had to be 21 before you could be PD. And I wanted to play JUCO football because I missed a walk-on at Fresno State because of Spanish. I didn't take enough. Now, I may look Hispanic, but I'm just black and white. I'm a hybrid. I get it all the time. My wife's Spanish, so every time we go out, they always talk to me in Spanish, and she always says, like, oh, no, so.
Time for you to learn the language.
I get it all the time.
I was kind of questioning.
Man, it's 8 years in. I've been trying, so. But, so 21, you had to be to PD, and I was like, I want to play football. And then he's like, oh, you can be a cop now. I was like, okay, cool, but I want to play football. Oh, you can play football in the Air Force.
What the?
Yeah.
What?
What you could? What you
PT
could?
flag football?
No, you could, because
Yeah,
actually there were
he's not
teams.
wrong.
There were teams that you could play for in Japan and all that stuff.
Oh, okay, okay.
But the way he
Yeah.
sold it to me,
You could be an intramural legend.
What? I did go on to play semi-pro over in Europe when I was
there
in
you
when I was in
go. Damn.
Aviano.
Now
I
you
played.
shut up.
Oh, nice.
So
As I was.
it wasn't a lot, but it was a good time. We won the championship one year, so.
Just threw that one in
Yeah,
there. Slide that in there.
Championship, whatever.
But
It ain't a big deal.
it is what it
I
is.
shouldn't even mention
You
it.
know,
Whatever.
when you're signing autographs in a foreign
Oh, my
country, you're like,
God.
whatever. But so I ended up joining because of my best friend. Wanted to join. But let me get back to the point of me saying he's the dumbest smart person. No, he specifically graduated high school early because he didn't want to go to school no more. Then he joins the Air Force. What kind of job do you think he picked?
Pest control. CE.
For somebody you say don't want to go to school,
Yeah.
he decided to become a linguist.
That,
Oh
yo,
my
I was just about to
God.
guess that.
Not just any linguist.
You know how
It's
intense?
hard.
Not just any linguist. A Chinese linguist, Mandarin
Yeah.
linguist.
Ew.
2 years of tech school.
No, two
Yeah.
solid years. It's
Monterey.
intense too, man.
Yes,
Yeah.
They
2
follow,
years.
Yeah.
I was like,
the morning
bruh,
school.
you
I
didn't want
had
to
a
go to
linguist
school.
in basic.
And
I
you
don't
picked
know
the
where
hardest
she at
course
now.
you could.
But like he used to
Probably
talk.
somewhere in Arabia or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Plus he said he was like, man, I just wanted to understand what the kung fu movies were saying that we used to watch
Are
all
you
the
kidding
time.
me?
Oh my God.
That was his rationale.
For real.
For 2 years of intensive language training, he's just like, I want to watch.
I really
want to
know what
watch
Ip
the
Man
Kung
was
Fu
saying.
But that's my boy.
I never understood Ip Man until
But that's my
now.
best friend, and I always tell that story.
He's like, I don't need the subtitles.
because of him, I ended up joining. I'm not gonna lie,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, not because of him, but all that. It's like like a snowball effect.
Right,
And
yeah,
everything
yeah.
was just happening, and so I joined, and then of course I picked security forces.
You picked?
I picked.
He wanted to be a cop.
So check this out.
He wanted to be PD.
What
I'll be a
the
cop,
hell?
goddammit.
I wanted to be a police officer. It's San Diego PD.
Why didn't you just go to the academy?
You had to be
Because you got to be
21.
21.
Damn,
Okay.
is somebody listening on the podcast?
She was
I was-
she was making those rookie moves,
just
looking
making
at the
sure.
I
podcast.
know. I'm just
Yeah.
messing.
She's
But,
too busy being sleepy.
So
All y'all, shut up. You too, Austin.
so as I was waiting to go
Oh.
Honeyman.
to the meth and stuff, I got offered, hey, you know, because I told him, I was like, look, if you get me out earlier as a San Diego, I'm cool as long as I finish this semester in college in JUCO. I was like, whatever. And then he came back. He's like, hey, we can get you out now, but you got to go EOD. And I was like, EOD.
Ooh.
But hold on, this is
kaboom.
Hold on. Now this is 2003, so this is pre Hurt Locker and all that stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
Okay.
that's true. That is true.
Actually,
relevant.
no, it was
All right.
it was
Okay,
2002.
okay. I get it.
So this is pre-invasion Iraq when all
Okay.
this was going on.
Yeah.
So I'm like, EOD, what the hell's EOD? And he's like, oh man, you know. And then I looked it up. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
He didn't.
It's like
try
fine.
To sell it to you.
You
Make it
probably
seem
won't
glamorous?
even probably die.
The
Like you'll be all right.
The only reason, and the funny thing is, the only reason I didn't go EOD is because of the fail rate out of EOD.
Yeah, the wash rate is pretty
The
high.
wash rate was high.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not trying to be that strenuous doing something. And plus, it wasn't what I really wanted to do anyways. So then, like, a couple weeks came by. He's like, hey, I can get you out now, like next week, but you got to go become a firefighter.
Oh, you didn't do that?
And I'm like, nah, I'm only a couple weeks out.
Oh. Every
know, it's so
firefighter I've
easy.
ever talked to loves that shit.
Bruh.
He wanted to be a cop.
It's so easy.
But hold on, let me, as I retort, I wanted to be a cop, but I wish I would at that point chose to be a firefighter because
I wish you would have also.
I love that. Like, I had a lot of good friends that were firefighters. 24 on, 24 off. You're
they
nothing but a
basically
hero.
live together.
You know, it's a great camaraderie.
Yeah.
I love firefighters. Hats off. Period.
Yeah,
They
for
basically
sure.
live together because
Yeah.
they sleep in the firehouse when
Yep.
they're not
Yep.
working.
And they make great chilling.
The best.
Man, them
But-
Chili
cook-offs.
cook-off champs.
So I
Undefeated.
I denied that. I was like, I'm only a couple weeks out anyway. So then I go join security forces, and I'm sitting in MEPS in San Diego. Not MEPS, but the hotel that they put you at before you go to MEPS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Padre Inn.
Some
I
shitty
remember that.
motel.
The Padre Inn.
The Padre Inn.
Jesus.
You remember the name?
It sounds great.
One thing you guys will understand.
5 stars.
I have
would go again.
I have a ridiculous memory.
I do with numbers, but not with names.
Period.
Hmm.
Like, my best friends, like, how the hell do you remember all this stuff from that happened like 30 years ago? I'm not 40 years old yet, but like
Damn.
30 years ago. And I'm like, I don't know. I just do.
Photographic.
No, not photographic.
Eidetic.
Talking about my memory, when I was 13, making a little bit of money, I bought this program called Memorization Through Association by Kevin Trudeau.
Okay.
Basically, all you do is if you're counting, like, to memorize numbers, it could basically get you to learn how to memorize a lot of numbers. And it was like, okay, you think 1, associated with something you know, tree. A tree, standing tree, 1.
Okay.
2, something that you know is always 2. Like field goal post. And then through that, when you memorize a number, you're saying tree, field goal post. It's pictures. Then you can memorize that series of numbers. Yeah.
Okay.
But anyways, basically
Tracking.
at that point, I think that stimulated something in my mind. So, like, I still remember my phone number from years ago.
Me too.
I still remember my mom's work number, my old cell phone numbers.
Nope.
Like, ridiculous.
You
all
don't
that type
even
of
know my
stuff.
phone number right now.
That's crazy, dude. That's wild.
I probably
So-
maybe do.
No, you don't.
People talking crap?
Yeah, everybody's always
What's up,
talking
y'all?
shit.
What's up? My bad.
That's
Y'all-
Oh yeah, no.
you speaking,
No.
You speaking
Let
the,
them know.
You speaking the
Let 'em
dumbest
know,
smart people,
Josh.
smart dumb people?
Oh.
Josh McConaughey.
Oh, okay.
Shut
Are
Smart
those
baby.
my glasses, Ricky?
Yeah.
So,
No, but I still got your flight suit though.
so
Oh, he kept your onesie.
I know.
It's his now.
Those things are funny.
Yeah.
So where was
Yeah,
that?
great glasses.
We're talking
bro.
about-
Talk about
Go ahead.
your memory.
Oh, so, yeah, memory. So I memorized a bunch of stuff. Cool, yeah. But what are they talking about? I can't remember.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I
Like,
thought you had a great memory.
hey man,
I
you can't
do.
be bragging about your memory and then
I know,
forgetting
right?
what
Nah,
you were
you
just
talk
saying.
about being a cop, firefighting,
Oh yeah,
all the
okay.
EOD.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
all that happened. I joined. Yeah, and the day. Oh, I was talking about the Padre Inn.
Yeah.
So the day I'm sitting at the Padre Inn, and anybody that's joined the military know that night before you go, all the people they say never leave the hotel, and everybody's out wilding out or whatever, or doing whatever.
Oh, of course.
I didn't.
I was sitting in my hotel room because I was like, nah, man,
'Cause you're a
I'm
nerd.
hardcore. Like, I had been training to go because I'm like, I'm going to be
I
a
was
military
also
police
18.
and all that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go crazy, And I'm sitting there watching the news, and you know who was on the news at that point? George Bush. Was it Junior? Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, Junior.
Yeah, you gotta be W.
Post 9/11.
Ju-
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this post 9/11.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it
so
was,
it's-
it was W.
Yeah, W.
And he's like, hey, Saddam, you got 72 hours to get out of Iraq or we're going to war.
And you were like, I just enlisted to be
I'm
a cop.
in MEPS
Great.
to go to basic training at this point.
Oh yeah, you better.
And I'm
go-
like,
you better,
shit.
Yeah, you better go to war.
So I was like, all right, bet, whatever. It is what it is. I was like, I'm ready for that shit, you know. But I was like, I'm an Air Force. What's gonna happen, really?
Right.
So, and I only tell this story because it was kind of what impacted me later. Is as soon as I get to basic training, which is the least basic training, and no matter what anybody says about basic training for any service, their only goal is to break you down and build you back up.
Right.
No matter what they have to do, Marines, they got to break y'all down harder because y'all are going to the shit all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Army, same shit, you know, most part, but you guys got to be able to move as a larger group. Air Force, they broke us down, built us back up, but ultimately it was like about respect. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, so in basic training, this was the first time they were like, yeah, you guys have to watch an hour of news every night.
That was not a part of my basic.
Because it was we were at war.
Yeah.
We were at war, and I was like, that's cool. You know, it was like mail call news. And then I remember Staff Sergeant Azuna.
That's really interesting. I never heard
my
about
TI
that.
said, how many of you guys are MPs? Like, this was after this stuff, you know, like just free talking, no shit talking to you. He's like, how many of you guys are security forces? And like, you know, at this point, like 15 of us raised our hand, you know. He's like, you guys need to pay attention because this is where you're going to spend most of your career.
Facts.
Ew.
Facts. And I mean facts.
She says ew.
So, but anyways, become MP. Now, one thing you don't understand is while I was doing all this, in 2002, 2001, I had gotten in a car accident.
Right.
It wasn't anything major, but, you know, my car was wrecked, you know, whatever. It was a little Fast and Furious, whatever. San Diego Fast, you know. And the car was wrecked, but then I got a settlement check. And
okay.
That
all
settlement
right.
check, it was like $2,000. Post 8 Mile, you know, all this stuff. I had been DJing for, you know, I had Newmark TT100s, Vestax mixer, and all that stuff, you know, scratching and all that stuff. I take that $2,000 check, walk in the Guitar Center, and say, hey, I want to become a music producer, or, you know, I want to make music and do it well.
Why music?
Well, my dad is always in music. He was a DJ. I was a DJ.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I started DJing in 97. And I just always liked music. We always grew up on it. My dad was, you know, so.
Yeah, okay.
You know, my dad kind of was producing music in Memphis, too. My biological father, my dad.
Okay.
So I was like, yeah. And then I had installed car stereos and stuff like that. So I was always around electrical and music. So it was I just didn't go into that career field initially. Yeah. It was just something I decided to do.
So your mom was white and your father's from Memphis.
Yeah.
So are you? Did you ever spend some time in Toronto?
No. That might be my half brother. You know, no.
Might be.
Nah, but DJ is cool, man. It's always interesting when it comes to people with music. Like, you know, some people they want to sing, other people want to rap. Some people just want to write.
I tried.
Yeah.
You
so
tried?
okay,
And
all
what?
right.
I tried to rap. Couldn't
Can't
do
do
it. Can't do it.
And then
not everybody can
so
do
you
it.
tried to rap and then what?
No,
you moved on to singing?
Hey, man.
No. I tried to rap, and if I rap and it makes sense, it has to be like I have to be screaming like Ice Cube.
Oh.
Like, yeah. You know, like that's how, and that's the only way it will sound good. Period.
Hey, Eminem.
So you
made,
moved
like,
from
a whole
rapping
second
to
wave
what,
off of
singing?
that.
No, I was never a rapper.
But
He tried to be.
You
He tried to be.
I didn't try to be a rapper.
You tried to write a little bit, and you were just
I always wrote short stories as a kid.
Yeah, but what about like
I wrote poetry.
raps?
Never really wrote them, but I tried.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
I get what
Yeah.
he's saying. He tried.
I tried.
No, it's a thing, man. You
It
try
just-
it, you're just like, it's
it
not for me, and then
didn't work.
you're just done.
I
he tried.
just knew that I wasn't a rapper, but I loved the industry. So it's like, all right, I'm not a singer, even though I did choir when I was young, but that's something you got to stay on.
Yep.
You know, because it's just like a muscle. You got to always work it out. I probably could have been a singer. Who knows? You know, whatever. But ultimately, didn't work out. So I'm like, I like music, so I'm a DJ. Okay, but I didn't. It's not that I hated it, but I was always mixing other people's music. I was like, I want to make my own music. And then you got to remember, at this time, you got 8 Mile, Get Rich or Die Trying.
Yeah, you had everything.
You know, all those movies that were like hyping people up to get into the music industry. You know, it was just, and then not to mention digital audio was emerging at this point.
Right.
Like hardcore emerging, where you can have this 100-pound computer screen and make music, you know. And I was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna do that. I got $2,000. I'm gonna do that. And that was what got me into music making. And that was Pro Tools 6.5 LE.
Some old
Hey,
shit.
shout out to Pro Tools.
Pro Tools.
Yeah.
Not cheap, man. Like,
Not then. It was like $700 or some shit.
Oh my
something
God.
like that.
No, Pro
Yeah.
Tools
Like,
is no joke, man. It's
at
no
that-
garbage or garage band.
No, but
Sorry.
Garbage Band?
Garbage band.
No, but GarageBand now is way better than Pro Tools back then.
Yeah.
But it's free.
Free.
It
No,
comes
it's
with
not
your
really.
Mac.
It's not really free. You,
But
you,
with
you,
it comes on
no,
your
you
Mac.
take out a home loan to pay
I
for the
know.
Mac, and then the garage band is a part of it. So it's, you think of it that way. You
But
know?
but 1 year later, your Mac will still be running, not like these PCs nowadays.
Oh, here you go talking.
Oh,
You're not gonna
Damn,
start this
listen to
today, all right?
him. Listen to him.
Nah, I'm not gonna go down that road. But anyway,
Please don't.
that got
As
me.
you were. Continue, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
But that got me into music, like actual music. So while I was in the military, because my dad was doing it, while I was in the military, I was doing this, MPC 1000, like I literally every time I deployed took my MPC, my interface, my microphone, because I always knew that there was guys that we always would, rap or, we make beats or whatever. I'm talking about, I was in training at Fort Lewis making beats with my boys.
I know
And
the military
That's
is full
dope.
of people.
Yeah, for
while,
real.
while
Yeah.
we're in training, like I mean, ridiculous.
Full of 'em.
I remember being in Kuwait City and they had a setup in the MWR tent,
Making beats, what? FL Studio?
FL Studio,
Mm.
FL Studio.
Kuwait City's kind of nice, huh?
It was before they shut it down.
I don't know anything about
I mean,
that.
I don't say Kuwait City.
I
mean,
only know about
when I-
2018
when I
Kuwait
say
City. I don't know about
when I say Kuwait, I'm talking about what was the fob that we would always go to before going over? I can't even remember.
I
the
couldn't
name of
tell
the
you that.
fob. 'Cause
Yeah.
it closed down. It was the one that you'd always.
If
go
you
to.
don't remember with your photographic memory, man, we ain't gonna remember.
I went one time, and that was before we went to Iraq, and I was like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, doing stuff like that, taking my beat making stuff over to MWR, MPC. I bought Logic 9 when it was in a box and it had everything apart from it, and you had CDs, install CDs, and all that stuff. Like I remember getting all the software ripped, especially when being deployed, you can get all that stuff ripped and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, easy. Yeah.
But then your PC gets a virus and crashes on you, and you have to go buy a new one at the BX in the desert.
Ugh, yeah.
So
Is that another plug for
what?
Mac?
No.
Is that what you're
I don't.
doing
I don't plug Macs. I'm just saying I know what I know.
Okay.
So anyways, long story. I served. Eventually got diagnosed PTSD because of deployments. First deployment was dead body recovery, 2003.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Holy
Or no,
shit.
2004.
Yeah, like-
2004. C-130. It was our own people.
Bro,
C-130
all you gotta
crashed.
say,
Yeah.
to me, man, all you gotta say is Iraq in 2003, 2004, and then I'm just like,
But
yeah,
I didn't
it
go.
makes sense.
I didn't go. My first
Like-
Iraq deployment was until 2007 because I was at Aviano for my first couple of
But
years.
it was still hot over there. Around
Oh
that
yeah,
time.
oh yeah. That's when this it was like the second insurgency. And all
Yeah,
that
exactly.
That
I
was
was 16.
That's when the war restarted.
stuff. That was post Abu Ghraib
Yeah.
because
I don't know if I
went
would
to Camp Bucca, Iraq.
Hey, man, you know what? Shout out to you because I don't know if I would have enlisted at that point in time. You know what I
Intentionally.
mean?
Well, he didn't know. He enlisted. He was already
Yeah.
in.
He
and
He
then it
enlisted
happened.
prior to all that. When
yeah,
that
you're
popped
right.
off.
You're right.
I
You're right.
only thing.
Forgive me, I don't have a photographic
only,
memory.
The only thing
I don't know.
The only thing I will count my
That's
blessings.
enough.
The only thing I count my blessings on is that at that time I didn't go Army, because
Thank God.
I would have went into one of the career fields that were war fighting.
Yes.
Yeah, because
that's what I wanted
That's
to
what
do.
you wanted to do, exactly.
So
Yeah.
so I was like, man, that was crazy. So,
They would have brought you back in a
but
casket.
I'm here,
I'm glad
But
you didn't do that.
I got PTSD. I talk about it openly.
Right.
You know,
Is that why you
you
got out?
should, man.
Yeah, I got medically retired for PTSD in 2011.
Okay.
I did
real.
4
It's
tours
real.
ultimately, but like it is what it is,
Mhm.
I've seen it.
It's a stigma that in my career field people really didn't talk about. And when I came back from that first TDY, my ex-wife at the time told me I came back a monster, and I was like, what the hell is she talking about? Because it changed me.
Yeah.
Like I was always the class clown, whatever guy, but I guess after that it changed me. So I don't know if it made me grow up at that time, and we were immature when we got married and all that
Mhm.
stuff, but I guess it is what it is. But the stigma with what we had at that time for security forces was like, you go to mental health when you come back from stuff like this.
Yeah.
You don't.
Your
you don't-
career is pretty much done.
Your career, no, your career isn't done unless you say something. And then coming back to a base that you have this thing that PRP, which not a lot of people know.
Oh, we all
about-
know.
So
you
I
ain't-
hate
you ain't
y'all.
even got to go in, man. We know.
So
we know.
so
we
you
know.
go you go back, and the minute you say something, I feel sad or I'm not happy or any of that stuff, it's like, oh, we got to pull that, and you're sitting on a gate for hours where then now all your mind is doing is thinking.
Ugh. You were PRP?
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Aviano.
Shout
out to Aviano.
I hated PRP.
Let's,
no comment, man.
I don't wanna,
comment. No comment.
Yeah, I don't want to stick on that one right there.
No, we jump
Hell
forward.
no.
But anyways,
we all know what you're talking about.
But
Yeah,
I got
exactly.
I got out of that, and then got out of that relationship.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Are you?
Hooray!
I learned every type of thing I didn't want to be in a marriage.
Okay.
And dealing with military and
It
stuff
was
like that. And at the time, I didn't know I was dealing with PTSD,
Right.
which was also a part of it.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
You know, so
Yeah.
A lot of people, they just don't know they
You're
have
not.
it. Yeah.
That's not one of the symptoms of PTSD. Is recognition of PTSD.
Oh, hell no.
You know what I mean?
You don't know you have
like,
it.
yeah, you don't.
No, you just self-medicate.
Yeah.
You're always at the class 6.
Yeah.
What's the
Shout
club?
out to the
lip
class.
Is that the lip club?
No, that's the liquor store on base.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man, class 6 back.
That's the
to shop
shopette that
Yeah.
specializes.
Shopette.
Yeah.
But you know, got out of that relationship. You know, ended it how it ended, and went through a series of bad choices in relationships and stuff like that. But the whole time, I'm still doing my music stuff. One thing that was always there was this audio stuff. And
Was it therapy for you?
We'll get into that.
Okay.
Sounds
We'll
like
get
it.
into that. So
I never went away.
It never went away, and it was always there, and I always did it. Like, it was one thing. It was the only thing me and my biological father bonded over. Is music, always, and that's what eventually helped rebuild our relationship. Because I went 10 years without seeing him.
Talking to him too?
No, I talked to him.
Okay.
Because it was always I had to prove him. I had to prove something to him always, for some reason. But
I get it.
But my stepfather raised me to be a really good man, and I think because of how far I am today is because of him, and because my mom met him.
Definitely get it.
Shout out to your stepfather.
And he passed away in 2009.
Damn.
Cancer.
Shitty.
Cancer's a bitch.
It is.
Fuck
hate
cancer, man.
Yeah, fuck cancer. Absolutely.
I really hate it.
But that's what ended up for me smoking cigarettes. I never smoked a cigarette before that. And then when my dad got diagnosed with cancer, the only time he'd get up was smoke cigarettes. So I smoked with him. I mean, I occasionally smoke a Black and Mild every now and then, but then after that, I smoked 2 packs of Newport.
So it was that caused you to start. It wasn't anything in the military.
Plus the military. I
Yeah, I
mean,
was gonna say, like,
anytime
that-
you had a break as a cop, you're going to the smoke pit.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
all that type of
Yeah.
stuff.
Or if you don't get a break, you start smoking so you can get a break.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly. So
Or if you go to the class 6 enough, eventually,
you buy a
you'll-
cigarette.
Yeah, you want
Or you
a
buying a
cigarette.
Black and Mild. Maybe get a little bit of cognac in the glass.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
A couple of blacks and yak.
It's a real thing, man.
but that all just builds up to what I am in my story. But you know, I got out, went through a bunch of bad choices, and then I had got retrained to K9, which was a godsend when I got that, because then that got me out of Langley, where my ex-wife was still serving as well, and I went to South Dakota, and that's where I met my current wife. And through all that, I finally got diagnosed with PTSD because of issues, underlying issues. You know, I was stupid, got into some trouble, and it wasn't trouble that was warranted by myself, but it was stuff I didn't recognize because of PTSD symptoms.
Right.
And the minute I went to, and they send you to ADAPT, alcohol dependency, to basically when
For
you get in trouble.
PTSD?
No, when you get in trouble for anything
No,
with
if you get-
alcohol,
it's an
Oh,
ARI.
yeah,
they send you there.
Alcohol-related incident,
And
that
I-
will
I-
send you straight to ADAPT
And I
immediately.
remember the counselor was this Hispanic guy who only had one arm, former vet. He's a vet, and we're talking, and he's like, "How many drinks?" You know, all that stuff, and I'm like, and I'm like,
Did you answer honestly?
"Yeah," because
For real?
at this point, I'm already
You're
in trouble.
already in ADAPT. You might as
I'm
well
already
be
in trouble,
honest.
so I'm like,
Yeah, so you're like, you know what? I'm gonna actually.
I'm just gonna be like, whatever,
I'm
it
gonna
is what it
actually
is.
do answer honestly and just actually try to get something out of it.
Do you want to?
Because honestly, most military people don't tell the truth.
They don't take it seriously
about
either.
about how many drinks they actually have.
It wasn't at that point that I was trying to get something out of it. It's just internally I didn't feel right.
Do you?
So
Yeah, no, I commend you for being honest,
ahead.
man. Because most people
Go
don't.
ahead.
Most people
Go ahead,
don't.
Rick.
Nah. Do you actually want to speak on that right there? Like how many drinks you actually have in a day or a week? Or
yeah, I'll tell all this, man. Shit, I was getting trashed.
every single
Every
day.
day?
Not every day.
Okay.
Not during work days, because I hate. Well, sometimes.
Hangovers.
I mean,
Hangover is a bitch,
All
right?
right, I put it to this.
for real.
I put it to you this
Yeah.
way: if anybody's been down the Hampton Roads area, 7 cities or what that they call it down there,
Yeah.
Norfolk and stuff like that.
Sister and
you
brother
can-
all live down there.
You can go somewhere every day and
Yeah.
and party. Period.
Yeah,
they got
that's
some
what,
kind of night every night.
Every night.
Yeah,
That's
7 cities
that's
popping.
what that's when England was like that too.
And I was
I
down
didn't
there
know
getting it
Monday
in.
night was a college night.
I was down
Shit.
there getting it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, drinking. Like I had, like me and my roommate at one time, all we had in the fridge was alcohol.
No food.
No food?
Just alcohol.
It's all alcohol because we had a Wendy's down the street, like literally
Oh,
down
so
outside
he
of our
was good.
apartment complex,
He was good.
and a Sonic's right next to it. So like,
Ooh, Sonic.
so literally that's
Got that chili cheese dog.
so that's
Ooh.
all we would do.
In a 4 for 4.
throw parties. And I mean,
They skate out to you.
that's it. So I would drink a lot. I'm not gonna lie, I would self medicate. I mean, a lot.
Yeah. How long does this go on for?
Yes. It's real.
I would say, okay, so when I was in Italy and married, I had a good friend named Jerry, and we were next door neighbors. He was married, I was married at the time, and he'd get off. We'd have a liter of Captain Morgan the Coke every day.
That's
Wait, hold that, like the whole thing?
that's a significant amount of liquor, man.
I mean,
Yeah.
between two of us, you drink it until we got tired, and then we go to sleep, and then I wake up for my shift the next day.
How?
Yeah, no, I mean, no,
I will-
I'm not talking shit.
I
or
will tell
anything.
you-
I'm
just
not either,
saying,
but
like,
I don't know if I
I'm
could
saying
see
that
that's like a
you
Saturday
go,
night once
yeah,
every
you go to
6 months
ADAPT
for me.
and you be honest
Oh, no,
about that
no,
shit.
no,
That's
yeah.
gonna raise flags.
No,
you know?
Saturday night. Saturday night, you that's when it went down. And you turned up, but that was just just having a couple drinks with my boy while we're
That's
playing
how
some
it is.
Xbox.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know?
that's how it is for most people, honestly.
And
Yeah.
then once that ended, and my stepdad passed, and the deployments and all that stuff, then it was like every night I was out partying, going to the bars, clubs. I'm talking about to the points where you knew people's first names in the bars and stuff.
Yeah.
So when I went to ADAPT and I was like, "There's something not right," it was like he was like, "You're not an alcoholic,"
All right.
because that's the first thing that. Why
Oh,
they send you to
for real?
ADAPT. He was like, "You're not an alcoholic."
Why?
What is
That's-
alcoholic?
Yeah, that's
Well,
surprising
I think-
that an ADAP person.
No.
told you
I
that.
think by definition, an alcoholic is a person that once they begin drinking,
You can't
cannot
stop.
Can't
You
stop.
can't stop.
Until you pass out.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Until you pass out or you go to sleep or something else.
I would be like, okay, I gotta go to work tomorrow. I'm not drinking tonight.
Yeah.
Right.
I gotta be up
But an
early. Like,
alcoholic can't do
Yeah.
that.
can't
So,
do that.
They can't have like a little gentleman's glass.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So alcoholism wasn't the primary thing. The
No.
PTSD was a primary thing.
That's what we were about to find out. So
Okay.
so then he's like, you're not an alcoholic. Just do this pamphlet so that in this workbook, and then I'm referring you to mental health. And then I went to mental health, sat there, cried a bunch of talked about the last 7 years, yada yada yada, with my counselor, and she's like, yeah, you should go to a PTSD clinic. Went to a PTSD clinic. I was there for a month, where they just pumped all kinds of pills in me.
Oh.
When was this, man?
That was
like-
in 2000. I had got back 2010, so it was 2010 to 11, somewhere in there.
Okay.
But at this time, me and my wife were boyfriend girlfriend at that time,
Mm-hmm.
and
Was this in South Dakota?
yeah, in South Dakota.
Okay.
And when I got in trouble, she was still in Iraq. We got deployed together. I got there 3 months before, and then she got deployed, and then I got back, got in trouble, went through all that crap, and I was on the phone with her, and I was in tears apologizing to her. Cause I was like, I'm supposed to be. We have a 5-year plan. This is what we want to do. Yada yada, And I was like, I messed all that up. And she's like, don't worry. Are you safe? You good? And at that time, that's when I really knew I loved her.
I was just about to say you got your ride or die.
Yeah, I knew.
Because if
I knew at
you-
that point.
Yeah,
you set a
man.
plan. You make goals with each other, and then something like sidelines those.
Oh,
goals.
yeah.
And her response
And
is
she's
like, I
still
don't
like,
care.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Like,
That's
yeah,
when you
man.
know you
if
have
I was
a beautiful thing.
if I was capable of tearing up, I would.
not
be
to,
right
not
now,
not to mention that she was
You're
younger
not
than me
capable?
too.
Not right.
You
now.
said she's younger?
She's 5 years younger than me.
Okay.
So she was a very mature. I think at the time it was like 23.
Well, women are
No.
more mature than men anyway.
She's
I
very
mean,
mature.
They,
no,
they
she
reach
was
that
really,
point like way faster.
My
than
wife
we
is
do.
a very
Yeah.
mature woman. Like period. Like
No, not at
hands
this point,
down.
Kyra.
So that happened. I was like, all right, cool. Dealt with everything. Got in trouble. Yada yada yada. And I got my retirement. because they realized I had PTSD and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they kicked me out. And I was like, okay. Not kicked me out. They retired me.
For retirement?
Oh, I
Yep.
wish I had a
Nice.
retirement.
Yeah,
check.
Full
do-
retirement.
I honestly, I would have to check it out to see if that's like if the same standards that you were subjected to
Probably not.
apply today.
Yeah,
You
they
know?
do.
Yeah.
They do.
They do. Because I have a lot of friends that go through it. See, now, remember I told you about my memory and stuff like that? And,
Yeah.
like, I was a 2.5 grad when I go high school, but I was very intelligent. I knew when I needed to put in the work.
Right.
Yeah, no, I get it, man.
So when I got sidelined and they said, hey, you're not going to be a security force anymore, and they took my beret and all that stuff after all that trouble,
Damn.
and took my rank, and then my first sergeant's like, okay, you're an airman now, so you can date your wife now.
Ew.
Or your
What?
girlfriend. Yeah, I was a staff sergeant. But I wasn't in her chain of command, so I wasn't breaking any
Y'all
rules.
so
I read the
extra.
regulations.
What is she like?
Oh.
Was
Was
she
she
like a
A1C
major?
or
Or
Yeah,
sergeant?
she was
That's
A1C.
so extra.
Oh,
like,
okay,
who
okay.
cares?
But
That's super extra.
but ultimately, I wasn't in her
that's
chain of
ultra
command.
extra.
'Cause I was
Right.
canine. So
If
I'm
you
like
were a
outside.
colonel and she was an A1C, it might
So-
mean something. But really,
yeah.
Whatever, man.
But
And you lost a straight for that.
I didn't lose a strike for
No.
that. I lost a strike because I got in trouble. For,
Yeah, because
for,
Yeah, okay.
the
For my
ARI, the
incident.
DUI.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
that,
Okay.
yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Whatever.
Something like
Sorry.
that. So
As I was.
as I retort, but no, it's all good. It don't matter. People know. I tell the story all the time.
Right.
But it basically getting in trouble made me recognize what happened, and then it's funny because I got demoted and re-promoted by the same people.
don't that kind of blows my mind a little bit?
But here's the thing: the reason I know all this stuff, like I know regulations and stuff like this, because I read all the regulations when they had me in the back office that pertain to anything that could possibly happen to me. What I was due when I got out, what I was allowed to, all that stuff. Ultimately, the only thing that I couldn't fight, even though I knew regulations and stuff like that, was the commander punishing me through Article 15.
Oh, you were Aaron Rodgers.
Ugh.
You knew all the goddamn rules.
But at the same time, I also knew that if I hurried up and rushed him through to demote me, that I
You could
hit
be promotion
that
eligible.
I
again.
hit that cutoff where I could test again and promote.
Ugh.
You beat the system.
Yeah, man. Hey, shout out to you.
Oh my god.
Shout out to you.
So
hey,
all
he
that,
was talking about like I'm intelligent, man.
So I
Like,
knew
the
all that
proof
went
is in the
down.
pudding right there.
So you didn't
bro.
do no rebuttal, no nothing. You were just like, brush this up so I can be
You're
done
like,
by this
hurry up and
day.
do this demotion. I'll be promotion eligible in 12 months.
No,
Let's make
no,
it
no,
happen.
no.
It wasn't
Try
even on
2
12
months.
months.
2 months.
2
2
months.
So he tested again a
I
couple
literally
months
tested
later.
right after, not that far after.
And you were just like,
And then he made it
you were
again,
like, you were like,
and then
I already been
re-promoted.
past this.
And
test.
I didn't
Like,
study.
I'm gonna do it again.
I just went in there because when I really took the
I would think a photographic memory would help.
I don't
with
have
promotion.
photographic memory though. It's just I learned.
Eidetic.
It's not eidetic either.
Eidetic.
I just remember shit. That's all it is.
If he sees it, he
Do you
remembers.
remember images? Like you see
Yeah.
something and it sticks in your brain?
Yeah,
So
like-
basically, eidetic. So, like, say you hear a song, but you see like an orange sign. That
I don't know,
orange
man.
sign.
Like
would
for
stick in your mind.
example, I can tell you all the stuff you guys told me, like what you do in your backgrounds, but I only person's name I actually remember is Ricky's.
We've been texting all
I'm
week.
Nate, by the way.
Nate. Sorry, but that's my point. But I
Ricky
could-
didn't introduce us.
But-
Oh, it's
but-
fine.
but-
That's not true.
It's
no,
fine.
Nah.
no, I introduced you guys to
I'm
me.
Kyra.
each individual.
Hey,
Her name is
y'all.
Kira.
But
It's not Kira, and do not pronounce it Kira. It's Kyra.
If you
Long
read-
I, long I.
He remembers.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Keon.
Keon.
Keon, the voice of reason. So let's get to this. I want to get back to your DJing, man.
so hold on. There was a point I was making about all that stuff.
Stop playing with me.
But
Sorry,
basically,
go ahead.
I read all the regulations. I knew what I was due, and it helped me when I transitioned out. So I knew about Voc Rehab. I knew about the GI Bills, post 9/11, which was great when it passed. The GI,
Yes, it's been very
all,
good to me.
all those things I knew about, all the entitlements I was due, and then when I went through all the VA process, I knew how to properly do that. So when I say like what I've been through, I also help a lot of people nowadays who, if they ask me questions, I always say, hey, I can help you out. You know,
That's what's up, man.
and I was going through it when they were changing the system too. So
So you've seen both sides of it.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
so you were around like before post 9/11
Yeah,
was
I
official?
don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about
Like they still owe me $1,200 for my Montgomery job.
You better, hey, you better get your reparations.
Yeah, that first year you pay into it.
You better get your reparations.
Oh yeah. That first year I paid my $1,200, but
You sure better.
I'm gonna get it. Though. So, but
Hey.
so
I'm gonna get my reparations.
So you want to ask me about DJ?
Yeah, DJ. I'm gonna get back to that.
Yeah,
because we talked about that. What you said you come back to as far as like that being like your therapy while you're going through everything you were.
Okay, I mean to get back to that we gotta go forward.
All right, let's go forward then.
Okay,
take where you want to go.
So after I got out, of course I knew I was gonna do school. You got the GI Bill and stuff like that. So I started finishing up my couple credits I needed for my associates. Like I was like 12 credits away from my associates, but because I deployed all the time, I couldn't really get into school. Excuse me. So I got out when I was in South Dakota, got married to my wife and all that stuff, and I went to school, just took a couple classes. And while doing that, I knew my wife was going to get out, and I had to look for a school to like go to, but I knew I wanted to do audio professionally. And I gave myself till I was 35 to be doing it professionally. Otherwise, I'd go do something that I knew, like security, canine training, work at PetSmart and train dogs for people, something like that.
You know it. Yeah.
So I went to the school there. Wife got out, and then we moved back to Virginia because she's from Virginia. Originally, my family, we live in San Diego, but my dad went back to Memphis when they split, and my mom moved out back to like Michigan and stuff like that after my stepdad passed and stuff like that. So I was like, I'm not going back to Cali, even though I wanted to go back, but because there was like no real support structure. Plus, my wife's family was from Springfield, Virginia, so like the whole support structure is there. Her family's from El Salvador, so like everybody's here.
Ooh.
So like we had.
I bet you know how to cook.
We had extreme support structure through her family and everybody. So, then I found the Art Institute.
Okay.
R.I.P. Art Institute of Roslyn.
Yeah.
So, and don't take this wrong. I would never gone to the Art Institute if it wasn't paid for by somebody else because it was very expensive.
Yeah, no.
I don't do nothing unless somebody else
no,
pays for it.
no rejections here.
Nah,
bro.
you're good.
No,
you gonna fit right in.
Yeah.
So,
get it.
but I had a lot of good instructors while I was at the Art Institute that positioned me to where I could be better at what I was doing. And so I got my bachelor's degree at the Art Institute. I only had to do it in 2 years because I already had credits.
Right.
I was an adult now. I knew that I needed to do certain things. Plus, I was on a GI Bill, so I was getting paid to go to school. So that was my job. So I did that. Got my bachelor's degree, and after that, I was like, "What am I gonna do?" So I was doing a little side personal training stuff like that, and I ended up going up to Omega Studios in Rockville to take their program because I was like, I learn on classic consoles and stuff like that, and learn audio that way. Even though I've been doing audio for a long time, I was like trying to get, in a sense, it was like piano. If you learn how to play piano on your own, but then you went and got
You can
classical
always
training.
learn more.
Always.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always. So I did that, and then I realized that I was losing a lot of my benefits by going up there, and it wasn't cost effective because I was living in Woodbridge, Virginia, and driving all the way to Rockville, Maryland.
Oh my God.
And then I lost.
Christ.
And then I lost about $700 a month because it was outside of the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area. So I lost that much in BAH.
Oh, you crazy.
So I was like, I can't do that.
You crazy.
Yeah.
I'd look.
The
Who's
house
next
allowance.
door?
Nah, I'm
Who's
start fucking
next
around with
door
that.
that can help me?
But ultimately, what happened is I ended up, when I was personal training, had a client who worked at the Pentagon, knew I had my degree, knew I had a military background, got me in with doing AV VTC technician work, which I had never did, but I know computers, I know audio, so I learned it really quick. Teleconference stuff. Like basically high class FaceTime. That's how I look at it. But doing secure, unsecure VTCs and stuff like that from the military in the Pentagon.
I'm familiar.
So, but now our audience is. But I was while doing that, I had somebody sitting next to me. She was like 23, and I knew she was making more money than me. But I was just happy to have a making $50,000 a year,
a stable job,
getting out of college, as a veteran when a lot of people were unemployed.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
It's not.
But
bad, man.
she was getting her master's degree, and I'm like, you're making more money, you're getting your master's degree, and I was like, dang, I still got eligibility left in my GI Bill. So I decided I was gonna get my master's degree. So I got my master's degree at American University. Period. I could have did it in a year, but because of how much it cost and the GI Bill funding and stuff like that, I had to do a year and a half.
You hustled, busted, and got that thing.
Yeah, I just wanted to get in there and get out.
Yeah.
So ultimately, what happened is, within 5 years of getting out, I went from knowing I want to do audio, getting my undergrad in it, interning at a bunch of studios in the DMV area, going to Omega, learning, making a network there, going to American, getting my master's degree there in audio production or audio technology, and then ultimately I went to a alumni event at the Art Institute, which then ended up getting me a professor job there. So I became a professor at my undergrad within 5 years.
At the same school?
That's
at the
crazy.
same school I got my undergrad at.
What's that like, man? I can imagine like
it's dope.
Yeah, like your first day. Like your first day.
Like, man, shut up. You graduated 5 years ago.
No, man, but I can imagine like in the same scenario for me, first day, I go out there, I'm just like, damn, bro. Like, I'm a professor. Like, these people are looking at me. They're taking notes on what I have to say. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm telling how long the paper has to be.
Yeah, like
yeah,
that's just got to be cool, man. That's got to be cool.
There were like two things that stuck out for me going to do that is, one, my professors were now my colleagues.
They probably looking at you
Damn,
like, man.
No, that's raw.
They knew.
Shit.
Because when I was in school, I was teaching other students how to do stuff.
Were you ever a TA?
Yes, I was actually, but I didn't do it like in class.
Hey, shout out to you, man. You helped a lot of people.
But you can do part-time.
Man.
But
you can do part-time TA or tutoring and stuff like that. You can get paid for that.
There are people.
I worked in the library.
There are people that are successful to this day because of TAs.
But
you know what I mean?
That's very true.
Like for real.
At that point, it wasn't because I wanted to teach. It's because I had nothing to do between classes, and I wasn't gonna drive all the way home to Woodbridge.
Yeah,
I don't have like, let me sit here and make $8 an hour and help people.
I'm saying I don't care if your influence was intentional. Like you help people.
No, for real.
100%.
But I enjoyed teaching other people audio, like while I was a student, because I was like, look, if I know this and I help you out, come up. Because at any time, and this is how I knew once it happened, I was like, in this industry, at any time, I could be teaching somebody, and then they can end up becoming my boss.
And then the fact that
that's very true.
The fact that you have like a passion for what you're teaching.
Oh yeah, that too. I just love
definitely will resonate with students.
Yeah, most students don't have that, man.
I learned like I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm the smartest person, but I've learned from tutors. I've been to tutoring, but they also want me to tutor. I'm really good at math for no reason. I don't know why, but I'm good at math, calculus, pre-algebra, algebra, anything. I can do it. Cause you
memorized numbers. Bro.
No, you know why
I'm good with numbers.
You know why? You know why some people are good at math is because they like the reward factor of solving something.
I could say that.
That makes a lot of sense.
Do you like doing puzzles as well?
Math to me is so simple because you have a formula, you work out the formula, and every time it works.
Because you solve it.
You get the answer.
You get the gratitude of solving something.
Okay, I'll give you that.
I think you're more right than she is willing to admit. But
for me, it's more about like you have this is the formula. You use that formula every time. There is no it's not like the world. The world is like
it makes
there's
sense.
so many different variables that can change the outcome of what happens in the real world. But with math, you use the formula and it works every time.
That's how to keep Kyra distracted. Just give her a calculus book. Put
Shut
it in the corner.
Shut up.
Hey man, you and me both, bro. You and me both.
But what I was saying was they want me to tutor.
Go solve it.
They want me to tutor in calculus, and I don't want to do it because it's not like a passion for me. But for you, when you talk about audio technology, you care about that. So, and then students who like say they're like kind of struggling to figure out what they like about it, you are passionate about it, so your passion will like.
It's gonna resonate.
Oh yeah, my students.
They might replicate.
I still talk to my students right now. Like,
yes.
Now that the school's closed, I still talk to them, and like one thing, like the only thing I told them is like, I have a motto for anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's make a way. Period. Anything you want to do, you can do. You just have to make a way.
And that's why you got into consultation as well.
In a sense, because I kept doing it for free.
Sense.
Yeah,
It makes sense.
might as well get paid for this.
Because I always do it for free.
Mm.
And then I get my wife like, who's that? And I'm like, so and so, and they're like, what do they want? I'm helping them troubleshoot something. Are they paying you?
No.
I'm like, no, I'm helping them out.
Smart woman.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
she's
exactly.
like, "You need to get paid."
Pretty much.
Hey, even Will, Will about that right there. What's good, Will?
That's my boy right there.
Did you how'd you meet him? Did you intern with him?
Yeah.
At Quality Touch Studios?
The way me and Will met is the most respectable way you can meet anybody in the audio industry if you want to learn from him and work with him. I paid him for his time. The first time me and Will met, I mean, of course you got online and stuff like that, but the first time me and Will met, I drove all the way over to his house from Virginia for a 2-hour block to pay him to talk to him about what we do. Now, this is while I have a master's degree in this.
Mm-hmm.
So you always got to learn. And that's one of my close friends says, is like, I have a career in learning, but then what I do just follows suit. So
that's real intuitive, man. That's,
well,
yeah,
I kind of have like
real,
a question about that. Like,
I like it.
Like they say, I say they, like people.
The man.
People say that you shouldn't like pay for something that you're good at.
Nope.
Do you agree with that or disagree?
Nope. No. Okay, there's a difference. When you pay for something, and most of the adults in this room can understand this, is you could know how to change your oil, right?
Yeah.
In your car.
Yeah.
Right? But how often do you change your own oil?
Exactly.
And now there's two reasons why you don't. Is one, time. Your time is worth something, and if you have to take the time to do it yourself, it takes away from something else you could be doing, especially when you're busy in like careers and stuff like that. I'm not saying you should never do that, because everybody should learn how to change their own oil. But I've learned how to change oil, brake pads, all that type of stuff. Like,
you're a mechanic too.
I'm not a mechanic. No.
Security mechanic.
But it's important to know like the basics.
To take care of your shit. Yeah,
there's skills that people don't learn anymore. But
that's true.
Ultimately, like,
I taught him how to change a tire.
It's because you don't. It's all about time. And number two is when you pay somebody, you can hold somebody accountable.
That's true.
And like, so when I talk to my wife about paying somebody to do this or paying somebody to do that or this or that, when I can do it, I pay because I can hold them accountable for making sure it's done right.
Exactly.
You can say I paid you
to do this.
You didn't do it
and
correctly.
You didn't come through. So
I'm paying you for quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
I'm gonna get you so bad because we had this conversation.
So
and you said I was wrong.
I'm stirring up trouble.
We had an argument about this.
I honestly don't know what she's talking about.
We're talking about Gordon Ramsay, the idiot sandwich.
Okay.
Oh.
Now food's a whole different story now.
Yeah, no, it's all right. Hey, go ahead and proceed through. Like, move on.
So,
move on,
were you
Will?
You said that you went to talk about yourself. Yeah. You said you went to go talk about what you do.
Because, okay, here's the thing. I'm probably the most successful audio engineer that you might know that hasn't done anything.
That's an insane statement you just made, man. That's crazy.
Like, when I say,
I believe 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand it.
But what defines success? Is success doing something?
What do you mean you don't understand it?
So
your
what,
title.
are you saying you're the best audio engineer that isn't a millionaire?
Didn't say that.
Is that?
He said he's the most successful engineer that hasn't done anything. But what defines success?
Yeah,
success to most people is what you've done.
That
or what
statement
you've
is hard to comprehend.
Right, that's what I'm trying to understand it.
I'll break it down for you.
Yeah, break it down.
If you be quiet,
go ahead.
I'll break it down for you. I'll break it down for you. So. And this will lead into why I reached out to Will. So, successful. Like, I don't believe I'm successful. Everybody I know tells me I'm successful. Like, I bought a 4,500 square foot house off of audio. My wife's got new cars off of audio. All this stuff like that. I'm just good with numbers, and I know how to make things work. I make a way for things to work. So, what happened was I went to a bunch of studios when I first got to Virginia. Because I'm not from here. I wasn't from Virginia.
Yeah.
You know, like I had been a nomad for years because of the military. I wasn't going back to Cali, so my network was dead at that point.
Or South Dakota.
Yeah, and South Dakota, you know, which I miss there because it's a small city vibe is dope.
That is true. It's a little
Nate's
different.
parents are about to move there.
It's dope. It's dope. Plus, it's like one of the most growing cities in the U.S.
City,
Well, your mom's from there. She's from Ellsworth.
They're about to make. They're
Rapid
gonna
City.
move right back.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
So,
go ahead.
so I was going through all this, you know, getting my degrees and stuff like that, and engineering at all these studios, and finding a lot of ways, just like I did in my first marriage, a lot of ways of things I didn't like selling drugs out of a studio. I worked in a studio where they were doing that.
Oh.
Like,
yeah, I'm good.
Like working at a studio, at a studio where you're not getting paid what you should be paid, and also having to deal with the entourage and them smoking and all that stuff behind you while you're trying to work professionally. I don't like that vibe. I didn't like going home to my wife smelling like marijuana when I don't smoke marijuana, cigarette. You know, and
marijuana cigarette.
And going home to my wife smelling like that when I don't smoke and I have a newborn.
Fair enough, man.
You know
You don't want to come. Yeah, exactly.
I get it. I get it.
Say no more.
You know,
absolutely.
And then I did go to another studio which was dope that I interned at, but it wasn't long term, and I was a little further than I figured. But then I got a gut check because I was like, I'm not cleaning any bathrooms. I'm a grown ass man. I'm not gonna clean this bathroom. But then he's like, look, shout out to Fifth, Count Fifth. I was like, I'm not cleaning the bathroom. You know, I'm a grown man. I'm like, look, I'll run your errands and pick stuff up. But he's like, look, you gonna do this or you not? I mean, it's part of it. And I did it. I did it reluctantly, but then it made me realize, like, you're never too big for anything.
Mm-hmm.
So how did I get successful from all this? So what I did is I was just building this large network, and at the same time building this network, I could always showcase what I knew, but I wasn't ever in the realm to get clients per se. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I understand. I understand what you mean by that right there.
So
I get it.
But then I got the job at the Pentagon doing AVVTC work, but then I was doing side hustle, you know, engineering, recording and stuff like that, but it was always for school.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always recording people and doing stuff for school, never getting really paid.
What type of art were they recording?
Hip hop, rock, anything, music.
Okay.
So I was doing that. Then I was doing sound design for little films and stuff like that too. Like little shorts and stuff like that, you know, like
anything we may know?
No. That's what I'm saying. Like the stuff I have my hand on one full record and a single that's on iTunes and stuff.
I want to hear it.
It's dope. It's a dope record, but the mastering messed it up.
Oh, do you not master?
No.
Okay.
I don't know it, so why do I do it? I don't do it. I could throw a plug in and say I do it.
Mm-hmm.
No, I like it.
But
yeah,
I like it. You're just transparent. You do what you do, and you don't claim that you do anything more than what you do. You know what I mean?
Could you explain real quick the difference between mixing and mastering to an unknown?
Oh Lord.
Yeah, including me, man.
It's a huge difference.
Because I don't fully understand it.
So
I'll be honest.
So that thought. Let me finish that thought real quick.
Yeah, do you think?
Because this is very important. Something I want to get out there. It's like I'm successful because I've made a career out of doing audio, and what that career led me to was being the senior audio engineer for NASA Television at the headquarters here in DC, and I did that for 2 years. And while there, I learned a whole lot of stuff about television and production and stuff like that. At the team out there, shout out to all those cats over at NASA TV. You know, I hope you guys get back to work soon.
Agreed.
But at that point, it was like, wow, I know something. And then I start going to all the trade shows and talking to people and all this stuff, and it just I become part of this industry, but I really haven't done anything. But I'm knowledgeable, and I know what I'm really good at is helping other people get better at whatever they're doing. Period in life.
Right. Doesn't matter the field or anything.
It doesn't matter. I always see stuff and I'm like, well, you could try this or we could do this. Hence why I like being an audio engineer, because I can see a project or be working on a project with somebody and be like, yo, why don't we try to do this because it could make it better. I think it'd make it better. So that's how I get into that. And how I got successful is that I put myself around a lot of people that are successful, and that when I'm around them, they know I know what I'm talking about. I'm not just BSing.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't know it, I'm gonna say I don't know it.
Yeah.
But
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
but the crazy thing is, next time you see me, I'll probably know it.
I do have like a question. How do I form? So when you talk about audio engineering, are you talking specifically about the beat, or do you include like the artist?
So okay, so we'll get to that. Since you asked about mixing and mastering, so audio engineering is, and why is it called audio engineering, or is it called sound engineering? There's a whole lot of titles out there, but ultimately what you're doing is you're dealing with electricity.
Okay.
Electricity and sound waves, which is acoustics and all that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Which, because you're dealing with electricity, is why they can add the engineering part to it. Because dealing with electricity and equipment and stuff like that. And audio is because it's audio. You're dealing with audio. So when you say you're an audio engineer, that means, like, if you try to do a job search and you put audio engineer, you're going to get a ton of stuff dealing with VTC stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because they want you to build racks and stacks and all that type of stuff, like for conference rooms and stuff like that. So you have to vary how you look for jobs and stuff like that. Sound engineering, sound recording, et cetera, et cetera. So when it comes to the music side or movie side or broadcast side, there's a ton of work out there. There's for those who say they're an audio engineer or sound engineer and they can't get work, you're not looking hard enough. Period. And that goes for anybody in any work. Because there's jobs out there. It's just how lazy you want to be and how you don't want to be.
Right.
And so when it comes to mixing and mastering, the difference is an audio engineer, sound engineer let's talk, there's another phase in there. There's the recording phase, the tracking phase. So it's tracking, mixing, and mastering. So when you get to those three phases right there, you should already have your song written, rehearsed, arranged.
Yep.
And the producer, not the beat maker, the producer, the person that's making sure the project goes off without a hitch and all that stuff, make sure that all that happens because you got to stay under budget. So when you get to your studio session that's 4 hours long, you're in there like clockwork working, not, oh yeah, well maybe we should do this, or I got to rewrite that, or
there shouldn't be like a lot of changes made.
At that point it's going, it's go time. So you're tracking. I am a tracking engineer. I love tracking. I love setting out 10,000 microphones and get what sounds the best. I love that part. I love working with the artist and getting the best out of the artist. Like, that is the most rewarding part, is hearing what you want to get across, sound, and me helping you get it across. And then you be like, damn, I didn't think I could do it like that. And getting that out of you. That's tracking, recording, putting mics out, recording, capturing trying to capture the essence of what's going on. Period. That's all you're trying to do. You're trying to capture lightning in a bottle, because lightning's never, like, you can see lightning live, but then hear it or watch it on television, it's nowhere near the same.
Yeah, same thing with music. You record it somewhere, sounds great. You do it the next day, it doesn't come out as well.
You're trying to capture that, which is all about motion and all that stuff. But that's mixing. That's tracking. Then mixing is taking all the pieces of the puzzle and putting them together so that it forms the picture that it's supposed to be, but at the same time making sure it's balanced properly so that everything's where it's supposed to be, everything sounds how it's supposed to sound. The
hook, the verses.
No, that's arrangement. I'm talking about at 1,000 hertz, or no, we'll use 4K. We'll use 4,000 hertz where the human voice sits, that guitar that's sitting in that same area is not overcrowding your voice. We're making sure that this picture is all in the right layers, and that it's in the right sound stage, and dynamically it sounds right. That's what the mixing process is, and it's a lot, especially when you're dealing with artists, because artists they have a vision in their head and they want it to sound a certain way. But at the end of the day, as a sound engineer, it has to go a certain way, and sometimes you get the artists that say, I want it this way because it's experimental and stuff like that, and then it takes it to another level, and you're like, as a sound engineer, like, wow, I couldn't believe we did that. But it worked at that time.
Okay.
But ultimately, there's a base. There's a basis that you have to cover. Mastering, and I don't speak too much on it because I'm not a mastering engineer, but I know what it entails. It's basically you're supposed to take that mix and take it to the final stage, whether it's working with other tracks on the album, them all sounding the same, like level-wise, whether it needs a little polish on it, basically it's making sure it's ready for consumption.
Like the entire project.
The entire project, whether it's one track or the entire album.
Okay.
That's mastering. That's like finishing your film or finishing your podcast or your stream, and then making sure it's the right Kodak or whatever so that it can be watched everywhere. Making sure that you share it everywhere so everybody can see it, etc. All that type of stuff. It's just that finalizing of the product.
Right.
So at some point, an artist will come into contact with all three.
Yes. And
a tracking engineer, mixing, and mastering.
Yes.
Because they have to, and if they want to put out good content, well, they should.
Yeah. Well, in this day and age with technology, a lot of engineers can speak that into existence that they could do all of them. But realistically, like when you're good at one thing, you're good at one thing.
A specialist.
Right.
Like there's tons of guys out there that they are just mastering engineers and they are good at it. And that's what
but they don't get involved with tracking and mixing.
They might. They might because they can do it.
Okay.
But then you got guys that are really good out there, like our recording engineers. They're good at recording. They can get the best out. Like you got guys out there that are making careers off of just being a vocal engineer to capture vocals from artists. Just for that part. There are so many specific parts in these career fields with audio that there are so many jobs out there people just don't know. Period. Like editing. Like I said, there's tracking, mixing, and mastering, but an editing engineer is just as important as well. A lot of times it'll be either the mixing engineer or the tracking engineer. They'll do little quick edits to make sure that it's good for the next stage. But that's another thing, an editing engineer, because especially when you're doing movies and films, editing engineers need to,
So how does it differ when you talk about genre? Like, for example, you have like Adele, who likes her background a little bit more bare and her vocals to be the forefront of her project.
That's all the producer. That's her. Whoever was hired for the producer on that project.
So when you talk about genre, like pop, it's more beat heavy or there's more background. Is that where you come in more, or are you involved in like all genres, country, rock, hip hop, R&B? Like ultimately, how the record's supposed to sound is the producer's responsibility. Okay.
So I'm artist XY, Lil XY. We'll say Lil XY, right? Because everybody wants to put Lil. I'm artist Lil XY, right? Okay. And I get backed by an album, or I'm doing it independently, right? I hire producer hitmaker. Right?
Right.
He's known for making hits. Not making beats, but for making hits. Whether he makes some of the beats or he gets the beats from other beat makers, songwriters. I don't like calling people beat makers. They're songwriters. People that make beats are songwriters, just instrument-wise. I hire him. So I am entrusting you are going to make my album a hit. And then I just got to show up and be the artist.
Okay.
That's what the producer does, is make sure making those decisions. Now, nowadays, a lot of the artists are getting really involved in this.
That's what I was just about to say. Like, how much do they?
I mean, it's the music industry. It don't matter.
Yeah.
As long and this is a key thing. This is why my man over here, right here, can make music on his phone and go platinum. Because it's ultimately as long as it sounds good. Now, there's a lot of caveats to that.
I was like, what?
Because if you make music that sounds good, that's good. But he might not necessarily go platinum because he can't get his music into the right people's hands.
Right.
He doesn't have the network.
He
doesn't have the right business mind frame. A lot of these type of things. That all plays a part. But then there's those times that you might be just young Justin Bieber playing your guitar on YouTube, and
someone finds you.
And you get picked up.
What do you recommend for artists to get to learn the business?
Go
like
see Quality Touch Studios.
Hey, there you
Will
go.
Browser. Go see him.
Get that consultation from Will.
Shout out to Will. Nah, if you really want to get into the business of music,
or just learning the business,
or learning the business side or the music side.
Well, you have to learn at this day and age. Every artist should learn, especially
both.
You starting up. You need to learn the business side.
Not necessarily.
You don't think so?
No, because you could be a great artist, but you're just dumb as a box of rocks when it comes to business.
What about your paperwork then? Do you know what you're signing? Are you just signing shit?
Now that's why.
A lot of times that's
why you
happens.
hire. Yeah. You hire somebody that you can hold accountable for that type of stuff, which 10 times normally is a manager or whatever. Agent.
Got some janky managers out here.
It happens.
That's when you gotta be careful.
Now it happens a lot, but at the same time, that's the beast of the industry. If you're smart about your business, you're gonna do well about the business side. Whether you know, like for example, I have my own business, and I know how to sell. I know how to talk to people, and all that stuff. But I don't necessarily know how to run QuickBooks, but I'm learning. I don't know that I'm not supposed to pay out of this account. I'm supposed to pay out of that account. But that's why I hired an accountant. And now when my books are due and stuff's not looking right, like I can look at that account and be like, yo, what's going on? Now, when you got to that part, at that point, if you're not following up all the time with that person, you have set yourself up for failure. And then you get Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
And then you go to jail.
But you got, as long as you have a lot of common sense with living normal life and how to pay bills and stuff like that, which they don't teach to young kids nowadays. I sound old now that I say it. But
young date yourself.
I'm only 35.
Whippersnapper.
And that's great. I'm only 35.
Yeah, you ain't no old man.
I'm only 35.
Yeah.
Am I 30? Yeah, 35.
Check your clock.
Now I had to make sure.
When you have to think about your age, that's when
how you know you're old.
Hey, one year I said I was 26 and I was actually 27.
And you're like, oh,
and I was like,
dang
really?
it.
Damn, where'd that year go?
Like,
I do have one.
Happy birthday to me.
I do have
God
one
damn.
more question.
You can ask me 10,000 questions. I'll answer them all day.
Yeah.
Ask
her one more.
Like, so nowadays everybody's on YouTube.
Okay.
Everybody.
Okay.
You can go on YouTube. You can Google cover. There's 50,000 covers of the exact same song. What would you?
Oh, I thought you were talking about like sheets and stuff.
No.
Covers.
No. Like
music
covers. But like as an artist, every singer, songwriter wants the same thing. They want to be noticed. As an engineer, how do you, like, say you have a record company? How does an engineer with the sound recording company know when that artist has it or doesn't? Like, what are they looking for? What are the cues? What should they be doing or what should they not be doing?
So first, let me clarify. My company's not an actual record company.
No. I'm not saying
no.
But you understand this
stuff. I have to.
Yeah.
I don't want to get in that business because it's like I don't have it in me to take money from people that, even though I could, I'm a educator.
Right.
So I don't think I can just literally go and be like, yo, sign this contract.
I can make you famous.
Yeah, I can put you on.
I make you a star, baby.
And
famous.
And I have 98% of their money.
Right,
that's just not right. You reap what you sow. I mean, all this was given to me by the grace of God. So like I've been through a lot, and everything I got is through His grace. So I don't care what you believe in or whatnot out there, but hey, I got my testimony, and I tell it every chance I get. But I think you're talking about how an artist can get in a sense, right?
Right.
People swear there's a blueprint, but there is no blueprint for this. Like, for example, I was talking to one of my mentors at NASA. He's a NASA engineer for like the television station. He built a lot of stuff. And I kept telling him, I was like, I want to win a Grammy. Right? Well, we're going to win that Grammy. I want to win a Grammy. I want to win a Grammy. That's when I get that Grammy, that's when I officially will say I've been successful, because that's a goal I set. That I know once I get that, even a nomination.
So that's success to you.
That to me.
Everybody has their own definition of success.
And it's exactly. And if I never win it, that doesn't mean I'm not successful. It's just I just feel that
give you something to work towards.
Exactly.
Right.
You always have to have a goal, So I don't. When there's no blueprint, people might say there's a blueprint out there and everything, but this mentor I had told me, he's like, how do you get something you want? And this is why I follow with my make a way stuff like that, right? How do you? Okay, you want a glass of water. How you get a glass of water?
You get up and you go get it.
Right.
Grab a cup.
But what cup? What glass of water do you want?
Get some water right now.
But which one do you want? You know what I'm saying? What brand do you want? How much do you want? Like, you figure all this out, right? You say, okay, I want that brand. I want the 16 ounces because I feel I might want to have a little later. I want it to be cold, so I got to get out the fridge. I know I don't want it to be frozen, so it's not going to be in the freezer. I don't want it like warm, like room temperature, so I'm not getting something that's sitting out. You make all these things you say, I know I want that, or that's what it is, and that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
How do you win a Grammy? How do you do anything? You find out what all the stuff is happening to get there. So if you want to win a Grammy in hip hop or album of the year, you go back the last 5 years when you see multiple people winning it and find out what they're doing and you emulate it and you do that. That's it. You do it. If you do what they're doing and you're not getting the results, you're obviously not doing what they're doing. So
but how do you emulate someone else without losing your authenticity and forgetting who you are as an individual?
No. Though people think they're individuals, nobody's an individual. Like,
everybody's influenced by everything.
Everything influences you.
Right.
Like, period. So, like, from this podcast influenced by Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
But you guys are your own thing.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're doing it different because you are who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what you emulate because that's the only way you get better.
So you're saying emulate, don't imitate.
You can imitate.
Don't imitate.
You can imitate.
You can.
You can.
But there's nothing like you guys in a sense are imitating thousands of other podcasts that are out there.
I think I'm more on like the artistic side of this argument because I think like anytime you have something to say, you should say what you feel.
Now,
never say what someone else is feeling because that's not your feelings. That's
well, his
else's
style is
feelings.
his own style.
But that's not.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying as an artist, you should have your own authenticity.
So here's the thing: we're in 2018. There's nothing you can say, or 2019.
Yeah.
See, there it is. I'm losing another year.
Where did the time go?
How old am I?
47.
Damn. No, but in 2019, there's nothing you can hear
that you've never heard
that you
before.
haven't heard.
Nothing
I
new
got
under the
you.
sun.
I totally got you.
Yet.
Hmm.
There's stuff that we probably haven't heard yet, but
We're too dumb to know it.
no, we're not too dumb to know it. We just haven't heard it yet.
Humans
Yeah.
are dumb though.
No, he's right, man.
There's
he's
an
right.
infinite
He's
amount
right. He's
of-
right. He's right. Even
Okay.
like the greatest fucking artists, where you're like, I've never heard anything like that before.
You have.
They just
You
dug
have
deeper
it.
than most people have,
Yeah,
or they found a different way to make
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
Or you're just like refusing to acknowledge that like half of his sound came from somewhere else.
Or
You
it's,
know what I
or
mean?
you introduce it to a new generation too as well.
Right.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
T-Pain did with
So-
Auto-Tune.
Right.
Yeah.
But he did it in a different way. Just
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Just
Auto-tune
like-
wasn't new.
Hell no.
It was old,
do you
but
guys
T-Pain,
know the history of Auto-Tune?
No,
not
man.
really.
Okay.
I just
So-
know T-Pain
so-
put it
so-
on.
I'm sure it's from like the 80s or some shit.
The
you know
military,
what I mean?
the military created it. It was created for the
Auto-tune?
military, yes, because it was a way to send signals
I did-
across radio bandwidth
I
that
did
that
not
could
know
not
this.
be.
Holy shit.
So
I
the
did not
military
know
was
this.
communicating with other militaries, and they were saying, "Hey,
It was a way because it was.
there's a bomb coming."
Would you get your friend?
it was a way that it would help encrypt or decrypt
Sorry, Cara.
messages across stuff
I
like
got
that.
you.
But then,
Yeah.
but then it was found out if you applied vocals to it or something like that, it made it sound a certain way.
The military gave us Travis Scott.
The military is.
The-
They have some of the best science. GPS. You know, the military invented the GPS navigation.
Yeah,
not
no.
true. Not true.
Not
Wait,
true.
Who invented
It's
the
a lie.
GPS?
Not true.
Who
I don't
did
know.
it?
NASA.
Ooh.
Well, he did work
Really?
there.
A lot
And he
of
worked for the
Then
military.
why does everybody say that? Then why does that on commercials and TV
the
shows?
military.
Stop! I'm
Sorry.
not playing no more.
The
Get it
military.
together.
The military. I love it in here.
You can tell they're married.
Yes, I love it. The military utilizes applications of a lot of things that are created out of innovation, and a lot of stuff through NASA is created out of innovation to push the space program forward.
Right.
So, like MREs,
The Space Force?
MREs.
Sorry.
So MREs that
Yeah,
military uses.
They're disgusting.
Some are good.
I love them.
The
I
pasta
only
one?
like the
Oh.
M&Ms.
The MREs.
What?
They have candy in some of them.
the way MREs were designed was because you needed a small package to get
Right.
a lot
Light
of
transport.
calories
Right.
into a small thing, and
It could travel well.
and who needed to do that more than anybody?
Military.
NASA, because they're going to outer
Space.
space.
Oh, they did plant kale on
Dun,
Mars,
dun,
by the way.
dun.
A lot of that stuff
Just
happened.
wanted to throw that out there.
Dun, dun, dun.
Maybe no.
No, they did. They plant. I read
Dun,
about
dun,
it.
dun.
We'll ask him some NASA secrets offline.
They're trying to.
I don't know any NASA secrets.
They're trying.
You know
to,
all the secrets.
They're
There's a wealth
trying
of
to
knowledge.
figure out a way to plant on Mars because Earth is
Terraformed.
doomed eventually.
So
Stephen Hawking.
Shut up.
back to the original. It's just like
Yeah.
there's no blueprint for what you can do in this industry, and when it's just you got to find a niche or a way to do it. Like I was on Facebook the other day, and there's this kid literally looks like a goth kid with his hair, black kid with his hair down.
Where you going? Probably a few piercings.
He had a piercing,
There you go.
and he's just listening to music. Of course, he was smoking the marijuana every now and then out of a
The
bong.
marijuana.
And occasionally he's like doing like this Twitch stuff and stuff like that, and then he's like, bro, you don't know, bro. And he's not actually like replying to anybody that are talking shit in the comments. But I'm watching these numbers go from 1,000 viewers to 5,000 viewers, like across a bunch of these. But then in the background, he's playing his own music.
Oh.
Oh.
And it's crazy. Like he found a niche of doing something because all humans are voyeurs. Period. You always want to watch something, you want to be entertained. That's always going to happen.
Yeah.
So they're watching this thing unfold, and of course you got the people that are going to talk crap because that's what the internet allows you to do, is talk crap through anonymity.
Yeah.
And
hide behind a profile.
which is what you really can. But
Oh yeah, that's door for another day.
but
Yeah, Rick's a troll, bro. We'll
So-
talk about that offline. Like,
but it just gives them that platform. But what you don't understand is Rick could say something, or we could be doing a podcast, and then we just start bashing somebody or saying something, or we're just sitting here all staring at each other, and then somebody's like over there looking like, who we got on, like this Yanelle Covington, right?
Hey, you know.
She could
Hey,
be,
boo.
she could be like, I don't like this guy that's talking.
But she'll still watch it.
No, but she's like, this guy is a fool, and hey, all you guys got to see this fool.
You're a fool.
Right.
And then she shares it.
Shares it.
I'm a
Yeah.
fool.
And then 5 other people on her thing see it and share
Look at
it.
this fool.
And then 5 other people see it and share it. And then all of a sudden, you just created this completely large network.
And you didn't even
of
You
try.
know,
foolery.
you know what, Nate? We have a story about that, kind of like that. The YTG with the Lil Wayne March Madness bracket.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that shit
yeah.
went viral. We went
Yeah.
viral once, man.
Yeah, we did
Yeah.
2.5 million organic views on YouTube. I mean,
Yeah,
on
no,
on
Dat Piff
Facebook.
shared that shit.
Oh, that piff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a couple.
No,
Yeah.
but still, though,
Yeah.
for us, you
That
know what I
Piff
mean?
has
That's
their own
like,
following.
Yeah, that's
E-
like,
everything has its own following.
Yeah.
nowadays.
yeah.
Like, I got 300 followers on Instagram.
Yeah,
and,
man.
Like, I don't even, like, and I occasionally post on there, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to get better than that.
So what it was
Oh,
was like
I have
it
another
was
question.
this bracket, which was basically this debate over like what is the greatest Lil Wayne song, right? And a good chunk, like what 25% of the comments
Yeah,
were
we're just-
people saying the bracket was bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, and there was no way around that. No matter what we posted, no matter what songs we put in
We only
the
put
bracket,
32 Lil Wayne songs
yeah,
on there.
no matter what we put, there was going to be
Somebody
people,
wasn't
yeah,
gonna like it.
That
Oh, yeah.
there was going to be a sizable percentage of people that said that this bracket is trash. You know what I mean?
What do you say? What do you say? Lil homie 17, platinum 6 figures, got so much ice you can skate on it. One of his hardest lines ever.
Hey, I
and, then
love
he,
it.
and then he goes to smell like poo.
Yeah.
stain.
So
Can I-
we,
Yeah, yeah.
we didn't give a fuck about
Rick
none of
and I
that
actually-
shit,
Yeah.
man.
Rick and I argue a lot on this podcast. You'll find that out.
Yeah,
We had
she's,
argument-
she's real
I'll argue with
temperamental,
her.
man.
We don't argue. We disagree.
You are confident.
We had a disagreement one day
Yeah, she's real
about
aggressive,
social media and how important it is for an artist to either have somebody who maintains it or they maintain it themselves. In this day, and you're into technology,
Oh yeah, big
in
time.
this day and age, how important is it for an artist, comedian, actor, actress, whatever, to have
Celeb.
a social media presence?
So
And I'm not talking about somebody who's already famous, because if you're already famous, yes, you can go
Yeah,
on
you can
social
do whatever
media.
you want, man.
You do what you
Yeah.
want. You already made it.
So what's the most important?
boo.
What's the most important thing when? What is the most important thing as an artist?
It depends to the artist. Making money? Is it
like,
exposure?
Money.
What is the most expensive? What is the not expensive? What is the most important thing? Is you need to have fans. Otherwise,
followers.
I don't count.
Okay, well, what's the difference? Okay, followers or fans?
Not necessarily.
No.
Okay, so is a follower a fan and a fan not a follower? Or can a fan be a follower and a follower be a fan?
What? My brain's
I
exploding.
just blew your mind.
I can't handle it.
No.
I know.
You don't have to answer
I can
all
answer
those questions.
I can answer
sir.
I want him to answer, but
can
they
answer
keep
it.
talking over you. I'm sorry.
So to answer your first question about what's
How
important,
important?
how important is it?
Right.
If you can't connect with the fan, what's his name?
Fan base.
What's his name? Gave Trent Reznor, 9 Inch Nails.
Okay.
Made like $25 million in like the first 90 seconds of this album when nobody was selling albums anymore, physical albums.
Okay.
Holy shit.
But he did it through
Congratulations.
He did it through, I think it was way more than that, but he did it through a formula called connect with the fans and give them what they want.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't connect with your fans, you don't have fans. You're not an artist.
You're just.
You're just somebody that's playing around with the mic and spending
making
money.
music. Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to say that just because you don't have fans, you're not an artist. But the purpose of being an artist is to make art that people will see, listen to, enjoy.
Right.
You know, otherwise you're just doing a diary,
Okay.
an audio diary,
Oh.
which is fine. And you could be an artist doing that, but nobody will know you're an artist until they hear your music.
Right.
Or hear what you're doing.
So you're technically not an artist until your music has been heard by someone else.
And it doesn't even
interpreted.
And it
by
doesn't
someone else.
no, it doesn't even have to be liked by somebody else.
Just heard.
Just heard.
Okay.
Like there's a lot of people there's some people, I'm not gonna say a lot. There's some people I've worked with where they don't put their stuff out. Like I got stuff I have done and I've never put out.
So what does that mean?
He used to be a rapper.
Yeah, I used to be a rapper.
Shut up.
Yeah.
No,
So at that point you're just basically recording your thoughts.
in a sense, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly what he said. Audio diary.
Yep.
That's it.
Any particular reason why these artists aren't putting out their music? Confidence?
Fear
of
Fear of
failure.
success?
Fear of failure.
Or is it fear of success?
No.
No. I'm not afraid of
more of it's fear of
success.
failure.
I'm not either. I'm fear of failure.
Most
I'm
of it's fear of
terrified
failure.
of failure.
It's fear.
Yeah. Well, you know what Erykah Badu said about that?
It's not even failure.
What'd she
though.
say about that?
About art?
Yeah.
Art?
It's not even failure.
Oh, did she say something about fear of failure?
No,
I'm
just about
scared of
art in
that.
general. Like, I'm an
Yeah.
artist. I'm sensitive about my shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
True. It's true.
Yeah.
Every
Look at
artist is.
Eminem, man. Super.
Yeah, for real.
Super
And
insecure.
And to
man.
get
about
on
that shit.
your question about a fan follower, a fan appreciates your music or appreciates what you're doing. They like it. They're a fan of it.
Yeah.
Can you
By
be?
definition.
Can you be a?
hold on.
Okay,
I'm gonna give you your answer right here.
My mind is
Calm
going.
down.
Now a follower, I could follow somebody and be a troll on their page,
Okay,
but I'm not a fan
Shout
of
out
their
to
music.
Ricky Williams.
but you can be a fan and a follower.
You can
and a follower and a fan,
not necessarily. You can be okay. A fan,
or you can be either or.
a fan of somebody's work.
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10 will be a follower on their social media.
Okay.
Right? A follower of
Can
somebody.
not like anything.
You can not like anything they do, and I'm only here to troll them because I gets
Okay.
me likes and fans. Of what
Okay.
I'm doing.
Okay.
It's
okay.
like Skip Bayless's whole comment section.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
That man knows what he's doing,
So,
man.
I
He
mean,
does.
like for
Yeah,
example,
100%.
a lot of people might not be fan of Charlamagne the God.
I like Charlamagne.
So like
I know a lot of people.
Darnell
hate
don't.
that.
A lot of people
Yeah.
I
hate
like
it.
Charlamagne.
I know people hate that.
For a
motherfucker.
long,
I like him.
for a
Yeah.
long time,
With
I
passion.
was like, yo, this dude is just a troll and talks crap.
No, I
Yeah.
love, but
People.
I love that.
That's
I
what it
love that.
But the point is, like, just
Oh,
because I said that, I've listened to his stuff and I follow him doesn't mean I was a fan of his work.
Okay. Okay, I got you.
But then I started realizing some of the stuff he was doing, yada yada yada. I'm like, okay, cool, I mess with it a lot.
Okay.
But then there's some stuff I still don't agree with.
So, at what point do you? Okay, you can be a fan, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
say your favorite rapper is J. Cole.
Nope.
Hell no.
God.
No, I don't.
Blasphemy.
It was just an example.
What are you talking about?
I don't-
Boo.
I want to say
He didn't like the
my
example.
favorite rapper is Kendrick Lamar. Okay, my favorite rapper is
Shut
Kendrick
up.
Lamar. But okay, say he puts out a project and I don't necessarily like it,
But you're still a fan.
Yeah.
even though I like. Okay,
You're still
for
a
example,
fan. Still a
I
fan.
used to love Kanye,
Okay.
and then Kanye did me wrong.
Kanye didn't do nothing to you.
He did. He broke my heart.
No, he didn't.
He did.
I used to love Kanye.
Because people are entitled to their feelings.
Okay.
And I feel some type of way.
I miss the
about
old
his
Kanye.
behavior.
No, you felt some type of way, or Kanye did that to you physically and made you.
It doesn't matter what he did to me physically.
No,
it doesn't
tell
matter
her
what
about
anybody.
herself.
No.
Let her know.
Shut up and let me talk.
Let her talk.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter what anybody does to you physically or not. Donald Trump didn't do anything to you physically, but even though you don't like him and you didn't want him elected, it doesn't mean that you're not entitled to your feelings about him.
We're not going.
We're not going to get on the politics.
So let's stay with Kanye.
I'm saying.
So Kanye made you.
I loved Kanye.
Okay.
And I follow every album. Even Edo with the Heartbreak. Nate hated that shit.
Oh, I loved
I
it.
did not. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it.
You know
She's
why
putting words in my
He
mouth.
didn't like it. He said it wasn't his favorite.
You know why I resonate with 808 and Heartbreaks?
Why?
Because I was going through some stuff when it came out.
So you can identify with
I identify with it.
But my point is, I have always appreciated his music, but like the way he's lately been making me feel some type of way, I can't even listen to his latest album, an entire song.
Okay, so hold on.
But I am entitled to my feelings as a human being.
You are. Hold on. Now
we're the only animals that have feelings.
Let her. Dogs.
We're the only animals that are smart enough to understand our feelings besides dolphins.
We try to.
Oh, go ahead.
Exactly.
We try to.
But
we don't need a separate
debate.
debate.
So let me break this down.
Let him speak his piece. Let him.
I'm trying to ask him, am I still a Kanye fan even though right now at this current time I'm not fucking with him?
Okay, so let me break this down real quick.
Oof.
So you said you weren't feeling some type of way about the stuff he's doing and saying, right?
Right.
And that made you feel some type of way.
Right.
So you're disagreeing with him on non-musical issues, has nothing directly related to your feelings as a fan towards his music.
Okay.
Preach.
That is a personal feeling that you have because of your morals,
right, and my beliefs,
and your beliefs against what he's saying or what he's doing as a human being.
Okay.
Now that doesn't degrade the fact that you like his music.
Mm-hmm.
Now you morally are making a decision not to listen to his music because of what he's currently doing as a human being and not his music as an artist.
So what do you do? Like for example, the NFL with the whole Colin Kaepernick thing. Every black person, well, not everybody, a lot of black people are boycotting the NFL.
Okay.
Even though it's tied together, but at the same time, it's two separate issues. Like, at what point does what that person does as a man affect what he does as a professional?
It don't. You know why? Because well, hold on. I can't say
he
that.
made Graduation, Kyra. It
Hold
was
on.
great.
No.
It was a classic.
So let me say.
I would have said College Dropout.
I'm gonna say it like
Thank
this.
you.
You're wrong. That's not even that.
No.
It's overrated. We'll fight about this later.
Nate, I want to hear what he has to say about
All
this.
right, Des, go ahead.
So
Go ahead, sir.
So what I'm gonna say about this is, ultimately, unless you're Ray Rice, where you're knocking somebody out in an elevator,
Jesus Christ.
that's going to directly affect your career.
Kareem Hunt.
Okay.
Kareem Hunt,
Whoopsie.
Ezekiel, all these professional people, or I mean, we can even go down the line with all the artists and stuff, and we can speak about R. Kelly.
Yeah, that's another one.
Okay.
Takashi.
R. Kelly's probably the most the best example.
Time out. I don't want to go down that road real quick.
I understand that, man.
So
you're not wrong.
So
let's digrade.
Ultimately,
let's go away from.
Ultimately, there are certain things you can do as a human being that will directly affect your career.
Okay.
Right. But if it's not affecting my career, right? So me coming on your podcast, how's this affecting my career? Because is it positive, negative?
Positively, of course.
Right. It
Awesomely.
could be both. It could be both.
Somebody could hate this interview.
Right.
Yeah.
Because maybe I said too much, right? But ultimately, it's not affecting my career. You know why? Because I'm responsible for my career. I made a decision to come on here and talk and open up and meet new people and interact and talk to people online and stuff. And I made a decision. So it's what I take out of that interaction is what I get out of it as my career, right?
Right.
So now when we talk after this, when we talk about podcasts and stuff like that, and I help you guys take this to a bigger level.
Yeah.
Without even being on it. That's a relationship that was built because I was brought onto this because I watched Will be on this podcast, and I'm like, yo, Will, I need to get on there because I could share some stuff, and it would be dope.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
that's exactly how it started off right there.
So when it comes to when it comes to you and your feelings about him and his career, that has nothing. Like, honestly, a lot of stuff Kanye does gives him
publicity.
And no
so
matter,
any press is good press.
Yep. Unless it is something that directly goes against hardcore morals.
Yeah, but he's in her
He
defense.
did.
In her defense,
That's why
he
I was
seems to like
offended.
flirt with that line almost constantly.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But by doing that, he stays relevant.
He's always relevant.
That's
he's
very
so
true.
fucking relevant.
He's about to
man.
go on Joe Rogan's podcast here soon
Yeah,
too. And
Well,
that's
he's
gonna
not
break
because of his
news.
relevance.
Well, he's
Because
not-
of his relevance.
Well, he's not relevant to me right now.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
that's you, and,
and
she's not alone.
I would disagree.
There are other
Because-
people.
No.
There are
Hold
other
on,
people
hold
that
on.
feel the
because
way
we're
she does.
because we're talking about him. But what am I doing to affect his career? Nothing, because I haven't listened to his music. I haven't bought any of his music.
Oh no, she has. It's just been
No,
indirect.
but somebody
Like,
listening right
you
now.
bought it, and I'm not.
No,
yeah,
but
she,
but
she
somebody
just ignores it when I play it.
No, hold on a
because
second.
Ye
But somebody
was great.
listening right
Ye was
now
great.
could be
Ye
like,
was
"Oh,
great.
Kanye." They could play some of his songs right now,
Yep.
and then it's revenue.
Good for them, but for my personal morals, I haven't done anything. To
You want to know the best way to if you disagree with somebody, especially in 2019, to
Completely ignore it.
you just completely ignore it.
I do.
But now you just gave him a platform on you guys' own podcast.
Somebody's playing his music just because of what you said.
You
right
gotta
there.
bring it up.
No.
Okay.
I mean, no.
I want to listen to Kanye right now,
Well,
Kyra.
maybe if Ricky didn't make me save all of my words for the podcast, I would have said it off the podcast,
I miss the
and I
old
wouldn't have done
Kanye.
anything for his career.
But here's the
I'm
thing:
gonna
you
play it. I
think
miss the
that, but
old
then you could have
Kanye.
said something that would have sparked me to bring him up.
That is true.
I'm not gonna win.
The
It's
best-
fine.
No, it's not about
I'm
winning.
still not gonna listen to Kanye
And that's
for right
and
now
you're
until he
fine.
can get his shit together
And honestly,
and take his medication.
And that's good.
I respect.
That's
I
good.
I respect her.
That's what
I respect her
that's how
opinion
I feel.
100%, man.
Because Kanye is a musical genius. I'm sorry, he is, but right now I don't know who he is anymore.
But you're a fan,
Still,
regardless. And
But
then,
I hate
and you,
it.
but you
it's
just
like,
answered your
It's
question.
like, you know, like when you get in an
You made
argument with
graduation.
your wife, and she be like, "Oh, I hate you right now." She won't say that, but in her head she does. Trust me,
I hope she does.
she does.
Kyra never says that
Sometimes
about me, man.
in her head she's like, "Oh,
Not
you make
ever.
me." I won't
Kyra,
say she
Kyra,
hates
you
you.
would never say
I
that about
won't
me,
say
right?
I'll say you make me sick. We'll go with that.
Nauseous.
You make me
Jesus.
sick. That's how I feel about Kanye. Right? Like he's my husband, and he pissed me off, and I'm mad at him right now.
So
And he
she's in love
he
with
has
Kanye.
to do something to prove to me that he is worthy of my love again.
I don't think he cares.
Hey, Kanye. You know what? I think Kanye is like to the point where if I tweeted him, he might tweet back.
Yeah, if you tweeted something like
No,
real
he's not. He's
volatile,
not Kevin Durant. He's not. He's not just.
he's not gonna
randomly
be
hit you
like,
back.
yeah.
I feel like
Man,
he
fuck
might.
KD.
Now,
Oh, shit.
I'll say one piece about Kanye, and that's it. Okay,
Go
Kanye.
ahead.
Musical genius.
Speak your
Kanye's
piece.
music is dope. Dark Twisted was.
Yeah, amazing,
I love it.
amazing.
Oh my
love it.
God.
Fucking
From front
incredible.
to back.
Thank you. So
It's like
I'm
a
sorry.
book.
Go ahead, sir.
It was probably the closest thing that anybody's created that's close to Michael Jackson. It's Thriller.
Yes.
And when I mean
Fight me.
I'm talking
I'm not
about
fighting
I'm
you.
talking about all encompassing like videos and all that stuff. Like that is probably
Including
Yeah,
the
it
entire
was- it
package,
was
not
so
just
good.
the
Yeah,
music
the entire
itself,
thing.
but
It was so
But
good. It was so
everything.
fucking
The
good,
brand.
man.
But at
It
the
was
same
so good. It
time,
was so good.
I went to the Yeezus tour and I hated that concert.
Really?
The best thing about that concert was Kendrick Lamar.
I know a lot of people love that.
I hated
I
that concert.
I love Kendrick. Hey Kendrick, if you
I
ever
hated it.
watch
I didn't like it. It just didn't. It didn't sound good.
You don't like Kendrick?
No.
No, the Yeezus tour.
The Yeezus tour when it came to the Capital One
Oh.
or Verizon Center, because one, first of all,
He almost got
first of
offended.
all, sonically, it was horrible. Not to mention, you couldn't tell if he was rapping or not half the time. Plus, you didn't know if it was him because that was the time he was going through "I'm wearing a mask" phase.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I'm paying all this money, and I don't
Yeah.
even know if that's you out there.
It could have been some
You know what I'm
dude
saying?
from the back. Like,
So-
It was really him, man. I'm sure it was.
Okay.
So
I'm-
ultimately,
I'm not sure.
So
it
my
was,
my
but I
my,
think
piece,
it
my
was.
piece about Kanye is honestly, there's probably like when his mother passed, it broke something in him.
yes,
It
and-
definitely.
I've
did.
said that so many times.
And I understand it. And honestly,
Absolutely.
whether or not he got the help or whatever he needed about it, whatever, that doesn't matter. But ultimately, he's brought himself into the spotlight, so it's always on him when it comes up.
Oh, just like a Kardashian.
So
Just keep going, sir.
Do
Ignore
something
her.
else to make
Ignore her.
people
She's gonna
look
say
at you.
things.
so
They're
ul-
gonna distract you.
so
Go ahead.
ultimately,
They have brainwashed
so-
him.
Shut up.
So ultimately, when it comes to Kanye, he just has to. He's one thing I respect about him is he's just gonna keep doing what he does.
I can give him that.
And
but
the-
I'm
and-
still
and-
mad at him.
never
and,
stop.
And that
He will
I'm
never
still mad at
stop.
him.
and that's more important than him even caring if you're mad.
I'm still mad.
You know what I'm saying? Because
You
just
ain't
like
alone,
me,
man.
I'm a Cancer. You're not
as
gonna
long as
win.
I keep doing
Yup.
what I'm doing, you're probably gonna piss a lot of people off regardless. Like I could have pissed people off by talking about stuff I've done in my past and stuff like that.
Right.
But I'm not intentionally trying to hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just talking my truth and what I know or what I can see. So when Kanye's talking about when he's over there talking,
Slavery was a choice.
No, you don't have to finish that sentence.
when he talks when he said slavery was a choice.
That was
God.
fucked. Okay, go ahead.
You know how many people said that was fucked up, right?
Everybody.
Yeah.
But if you understand what his mind was thinking about it, he's not saying it was necessarily a choice. He was saying that people weren't trying to like there were people that were trying to get away from it.
Yeah.
But but there's way more to it that are like
You can't.
you baking a lot of bad stuff into it.
Yeah,
Right.
but in 2019 you can't get away with. But what I meant to say was, you know what I mean. You gotta come correct.
Sound bites.
The first take.
But that's so horrible.
It is
I'm
horrible, but it's the
I'm not
truth.
saying that it's wrong, but
It's
I'm
not
saying
a
it's
recording.
reality.
If you say
you know
something
what I
on
mean?
live air, you
like,
can't. Just like you said
you
earlier.
gotta come correct the first time
Why?
if you're gonna
Why?
say something.
But just because, just like what you
because
said
otherwise you're gonna have people like her that are gonna react the way that she.
No. What I'm saying is just
You
like
know
you
what I
said
mean?
earlier. When
And
you
it'd be a
do,
million of her.
when you
You
do
heard about the
something
podcast?
Yeah,
live,
I
she
know you
is.
heard the podcast.
when you
She
do
is not-
something,
she's
when
not
you do
alone.
something
She's not
live, you
alone.
can't
She's
take
not
it back.
alone.
You
Right.
already said it. So
Right.
he said it,
She's
and it was
not alone.
live,
She's
and
not
he
alone,
pissed
man.
off a lot of people.
But was he human?
Yes.
But the thing is that
He's 100%.
Aren't humans fallible?
you are right.
Absolutely.
Aren't they allowed to make mistakes?
But in the internet era,
Trust me,
motherfuckers don't
I'm
give
on.
a shit.
I'm on
But
your
that's-
side.
but
I'm
that's
on
the
your
point.
side, man.
I do agree with you.
You're
though.
allowed to
I
make
agree with
mistakes.
I agree with you too.
And the fact that people don't allow people to make mistakes is a
It's
problem.
like it's not the fact that he
Because
made
you can't
that
learn
mistake.
you can't learn if you don't.
It's like he kept
Facts.
doing shit after. It wasn't like he made a mistake and then he tried to correct it. It was like he
Eventually.
made a mistake, then tried to justify the
Eventually.
mistake, and then eventually was like, "Oh shit! I talked to
Ti.
Ti. Now I've seen the light." It's like why didn't you recognize that
But
initially?
you know those benzos are a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
There you go.
And you
So
understand that
drug use?
bipolar is a hell of a mental
Yeah.
I
disorder,
understand
right?
that.
No, not drug use. It's benzos,
Benzodiazepine.
which deal with a
Yo.
lot of that stuff. Like when you come off those things, it is very. And I'm glad we got into this.
Drastic.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Because this
go
is
ahead. Speak
This
your
is
piece,
something I
bro.
wanted to talk about because I'm getting ready to do a project about.
Hell
this.
yeah.
So
what, drug use or
mental
benzos?
illness.
Let him speak. Let
Mental
him speak.
illness.
Mental illness
Let us speak.
in our industry is ridiculous.
Really?
Yes,
Industry of
100%.
what?
audio industry,
Music.
industry,
Okay.
entertainment industry
Okay.
is
It's rampant,
is ridiculous. Not to mention when you're in the entertainment industry as a veteran,
Yeah, because you have that
a
extra
war
layer.
veteran, there it's even crazier.
Mm-hmm.
So to give a little background on why I'm bringing this up is because I wrote my master's thesis on audio production as a therapeutic method for post-traumatic stress syndrome.
Okay.
So
That's amazing.
one big thing one big thing when you're dealing with post-traumatic stress syndrome is they use a lot of cognitive therapy. And cognitive therapy they utilize like senses,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you have post-traumatic syndrome and I'm like, hey Ricky, let's talk about when you got kicked in the face by that person, right? And I was like, through my program, let's write a song or make a beat or whatever that is triggered by that memory. And I want you to put it all into that, which is the music industry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have you do that, right? But then besides just being an artist and doing that and then performing it over and over and over, I bring you on the other side and then we fix that music or that problem
Mm-hmm.
tactilely with touch through whether it's a mouse or EQing or adding reverb or all that type of stuff. We are physically fixing that problem. Now we're not fixing the problem per se, but also
Figuratively.
No.
hold on one second. Also, when you are an engineer, what is one thing that you have all the time? You're listening to the same thing over and over and over.
Yep.
And by listening to something over and over, you're desensitizing yourself to that situation.
Oh.
So now through taking something that you wrote a song about or a beat about and you performed it or you created it and then you're on the other side trying to fix it by listening to it over and over and over, not only have you got it out, you're desensitizing yourself to it, you're physically working on it, and then at the end of the process now you physically share this, because most of the time when you create something you want to share it with your friends and family or people, and when you share it with them now now you're creating a conversation about that issue what you might not normally have talked about.
Right.
Because what's the first thing if I play this music, you'd be like, what made you write that? Or what inspired you?
Yeah, of course.
now I'm talking about it. And through talking about it now, I have just broke that barrier of what dealing with it. Now you still have issues to deal with it, but now it's just become a therapeutic method through doing this project.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Acknowledging a problem, and then especially speaking on it.
So
it
that's
goes a long way.
So that's what I wrote my master's thesis on. I did the research. Found the journals and stuff like that. That's probably what I'll get my doctorate on. Is that method. But with mental illness, so this project I'm working on is going to be like a YouTube channel, podcast, reflection type of project, right? I'm not going into details because we're working on something that's going to break the internet, hopefully. But
yay!
But me and there was 3 of us that were working on a project during my master's program, and it was an album. The album got shelved. It was fully done for my program, but it was driven by me having to do it for a project for school. Okay, it wasn't, hey, we're doing this because the artist is putting it out. Which it seemed like it was, but it not necessarily was. Shout out to Geronimo, big guy coming up in this area, like dope lyricist. Like his mind is ridiculous, and we shelved it, and he had to go off and do something, and get his mind right because he was dealing with some stuff. I'm dealing with stuff, like I'm always dealing with stuff, but then the guy who made the beats, was a Marine, and he's been coming back and forth, and yada yada yada. But ultimately, this project got shelved, so we got an entire album that was done, but it wasn't done to the caliber it should be. So the project is right now, unfortunately, our friend committed suicide.
Oh, damn.
And we still have this project.
Yeah.
So we're going to wipe it, all lyrics and everything up off of it, and just go back to the beats he made. And then we're literally going to produce this project in a certain way that's going to show the entire creative process from beginning to end. And you're going to know exactly what we're thinking and how we're feeling the entire way, and how we're dealing with it the entire project. And literally everything that goes on this project is going to be for him. And then we're going to take, if any, proceeds off the album or the GoFundMe or whatever, and then we're going to create a foundation that helps with, whether it's his family or his brother or whoever, and to deal with mental illness and stuff like that with artists and military members from the album.
That's beautiful, man.
And that's just that. That's just that part. But we're gonna continue it after the project, doing it more and more, because one thing our industry doesn't let you see is the inside. Like for example, you're like, I'm mad at Kanye, but you don't know what's going on with him.
Obviously not.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. Like, people didn't know what's her name? That was ODing again.
Oh, Demi
Lovato.
Yeah.
You don't know what she's dealing with her demons and stuff like that, because you don't get shown that. You only care about what you want to get. It's a very give me, right?
It's selfish.
Especially with the entertainment industry. Now, I know a lot of people probably, like with this Instagram stuff, it's in social media, it's like you get in more. You're like in that person's life more, right? But you still see stuff through a filter. What happens when you see stuff unfiltered? What kind of conversations does that spark?
Personally.
Who knows where I can go to?
Exactly. And not to mention the project, nothing scripted. So what you're seeing is what's happening.
So like when you pay somebody to fix,
I'm excited, man.
It's gonna be a good project.
Yeah,
I'm definitely interested.
I'm excited to see what I'm gonna learn about myself.
Oh, God, I'm probably gonna cry.
I probably will.
I cry on everything though. I'm gonna cry.
I probably will.
I'm a very emotional person. You probably noticed already.
It's okay.
She cried at the end of Infinity War.
Shut up.
It was very sad.
But yeah, that's
Spider-Man died.
I cried on Spider-Man.
Spoiler. But
sorry.
But so ultimately,
edit that out, Ricky.
What we're gonna do is it's bringing up a topic. We're gonna talk about mental illness and how it's rampant. Kid Cudi. Like, people were like, "Oh, Kid Cudi didn't know really what was going on with him."
Right.
Yeah.
You would
Shout
never
out to
think
Kid
his money
Cudi,
with his
100%.
music. like that he was going through it, and
I felt it
along with the cocaine addiction
right?
and stuff like that.
That made me cry.
All that type of stuff.
Reborn, I cried for like 10 minutes.
So
Reborn was incredible.
So
man.
So basically, what I want to do is I want to bring awareness even more to mental illness in this industry. But here's the thing. I'm at a level in where I'm at now that's below that top, maybe not the top, but the top. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to professional, it's like I'm one hit away from possibly getting up there with them guys as an engineer or whatever. If I get on the right record or whatever.
All right.
Those guys up there aren't going to do that because they're up there and they got that. So if we're doing this down here,
to be made.
And I'm not even worried about the money, but if we're doing this down here and showing like what this is actually about and the process and all that stuff, kind of like you watch the behind the scenes when people make their albums and stuff like that, but that's all taped and edited and cut.
So unedited,
raw.
So wow,
raw.
Kind of like this podcast is right now. Just
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, well, I said it.
You know what I'm saying? So
well.
So I mean, and basically bring the conversation up and just make it like something to talk about, because once you start talking about it, and here's the thing, like you were talking about, what if I don't have nobody that's following me? It don't matter, because if you get one or two people, that's all that matters.
Change one life.
Right. No, you get one person that's a fan, then they start sharing it, and then all of a sudden one person from there starts sharing it. You got to imagine this media time frames is like multi-level marketing. You have to get one or two. That's it. Once you get one or two, they're gonna get a couple more, and if they get one more, then they're gonna probably get one more. It's all about that.
Almost kind of like a pyramid scheme.
Right. Exactly. Multi-level marketing.
Hey.
But it's not. It's important to make it that way in an open conversation, and regardless, the project that we're doing has nothing to do with getting followers or making money. It's just we're gonna do it because it's something we feel we want to do.
Authentic.
Facts.
Period.
I love it, man.
And that hopefully we're gonna start working on it over the next couple of weeks. So
okay,
make it happen.
Yeah, keep us informed, man.
Yeah, definitely
let us
share
know
with you guys, and even like this podcast or whatever, like when you get done with the cut, like I'm gonna take some of it and probably put it on there too.
Absolutely.
So
Yo.
because it's part, like I talked about it.
Yeah.
And that's one thing we're doing. Like anything time we talk about or something like that, we're just gonna put it up there.
Hey, I love it.
So it's a big thing. I'm getting ready to start opening up. See, so for example, I got a lot of money invested in my home studio, to where you don't think it's a home studio when you walk in.
What's it look like?
Like a professional studio.
Like a studio. It's not pro, but it's a studio. Like I got vocal booths, like real vocal booths, and like painted out. And
You
all
got
that.
a couple pictures of it?
Yeah, I got some pictures. I'll show it to
Yeah,
you.
show
I'll
it to you after. Yeah.
And I actually just upgraded a couple things. I'm putting new sound treatment up and stuff like that. Then I'm building myself instead of paying for it. But I'm getting ready to open that up to the public out in Stafford.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Which we don't have an actual studio located in Stafford, like pro studio. So, and it's in my house, and I was very relentless about opening up my house for people to come out and record. So there still will be a screening process.
Yeah.
And all that stuff, but I'm gonna be opening that up. That's gonna be coming up over this year soon. And then between that and then the podcast I'm working on for the company Stars and Stripes that I'm working on, that's launching in March. So
talk to me about Stars and Stripes.
I don't want to go into it too far.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Because I try to keep that stuff separate.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I had to say like myself as a business, and it has arms of the government or whatever, so I have my company, Making All Known Entertainment, which on social media is Make ENT DMV. That's on all social media, LinkedIn, YouTube, and all that stuff. That's my LLC company, like legit, like I can bid on government contracts and all that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't even get in that side of my business. Like I literally
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I can talk about that.
Okay.
Like I can bid on government contracts and all that type of stuff, and I can do that. And then I got me as an engineer, Dmak the engineer, and then I have Making All Known Studios, which is my studio at my house, which I'm gonna open up for public use. And I have these 3 different entities but they're all the same because it's all me doing the work and stuff like that. But ultimately, the goal is to get out into the facility I was telling you guys about earlier, which is that multimedia production facility, which would be on a subscription model.
A subscription model.
Yes.
Talk to me about that. How's that work?
I'm not gonna go too far into it, so I'm not gonna give everybody. I can't give out my goal. But I mean, somebody told me one time, like, you can speak about ideas all you want, but unless you do them, it don't matter. So
Right.
like I can tell you guys 10,000 ideas, but if you guys don't go out and do one of them, it don't matter. But it's basically gonna be a multimedia production facility. I have it all designed and all that stuff where you can freelance out of there. There'll be offices like WeWork and all that stuff. And literally there'll be 2 recording studios and all this. But it's all based on a subscription model that you can basically subscribe like a gym.
And you can use
and
you can use whatever way.
And you can use the facilities
24/7.
Not initially.
Okay.
Because you're gonna have to have security, and I want to make sure everybody's safe. But basically, the facility will be open. I think it's like 18 hours a day or something like that. But through subscription, you have access to the business areas. So if you wanted to meet with business partners and stuff like that, because you don't want to meet at your house or at the Starbucks or something, you want to talk business and you want to sit in the office and do it and feel legit, you can do it there. But then you can ultimately be like, hey, let's go down here and record this album, which is down the hallway in the studio.
That's gonna be good for like independent artists.
Independent artists and all that stuff. But the biggest thing is the facility itself creates a network, which it'll have its own social media through the website within itself for networking. Not necessarily to chat and all that stuff, but like information, once you're a member and stuff like that. Plus the membership model also gives you access to mentors working in the area. And based on whatever level you are, whether you get 15 minutes, a half hour, yada yada, with a mentor a month, or whether you're at what level, how many hours you get with your subscription every month for the facility. So basically, say you signed up,
right,
and you're like, I'm basic level. Okay, that gives you access to the facility to come to the offices and to come to the network stuff that we do, all that type of stuff. Plus, maybe meet with a mentor once a month, or basically you want to show projects and stuff like that too, and then also access to that social media, which can create work for yourself. That's the basic model. But then, like, say you do one step up, right? And you pay. So now basically what you pay for your membership is amount of hours to use in the facility. So your second tier, you get 2 hours or something like that, an hour or something like that to use in any of the rooms in the facility except for the performance space, because that's a different sector.
Yeah.
So like say you're at this level and you get 2 hours, and so you can use 2 hours in the studio. But because you get that every month as a subscriber, right? And then also at that level you get a discounted rate on additional hours in the facility.
Oh, okay.
So it's a big model. I have a huge business plan for it. I have 3D renderings of it, all this like facility, 5,000 square feet facility, which ultimately I would like to be bigger. There's a couple companies doing stuff like this. Like House Studio kind of has something like this, but not on the model or way we're working it. Because is geared more towards actual creators. This is for the people doing that aren't necessarily the artists. So this is for the engineers or the photographers or the videographers or the editors or something like that can't sit there when their kids are yelling and edit, or want to go somewhere that's a creative space outside of their house, but they're not able to sit in one of these big studios or something like that. And it just builds a network. And it's so affordable, ridiculously affordable. And all my first responders and military get discount, of course.
Hey.
And then eventually, once we get it up and running, the goal is to be able to facilitate my PTSD clinics with audio production as a coping mechanism for PTSD.
Bro, if this shit
incredible,
works,
man.
Like it would be.
Oh no, it'll work. I
That's
just gotta raise.
No, I'm not doubting it.
$460,000.
I'm not doubting it. I'm saying if enough people recognizes that it works, you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
That's just gonna break the internet, man. Like,
no, that won't break the internet.
It would, man. I've seen dumber shit break the internet,
and
this is incredible.
And that's the problem, because it's not dumb. It won't.
Yeah,
So
okay. All right.
But
all
ultimately, the goal, ultimately the goal of what I'm designing and what I'm trying to do is basically I've seen a lot of stuff through what I've gone through, and I want to be able to help people in different ways, whether it's through helping with PTSD, audio, video.
What you're talking about, and this term is not disrespectful, and I hope you don't take it this way.
I am.
I'm scared.
This term is like what you're talking about is kind of radical.
It is, but it is.
Yeah, because I mean that in an entirely positive way.
It is,
you
because
know what I mean?
Because we're taking what people are forced to do in their homes because they can't afford to go to like these bigger facilities, like and stuff like that, to where you actually can.
Yeah, booth time is expensive.
And actually afford it.
Yeah, no, it's very real. It's beautiful, and like.
It'll
God, I just nothing but hope.
It will. It will.
From me,
I'm working on it.
This works,
like I'm supposed
man.
to I've supposed to been had created like the GoFundMe's and all that stuff like that. But I'm like I want to fund it. Like I want to fund it just to fund it, you know. And I'm getting there. I mean, through getting government contracts is how I officially figured out how I was going to try to fund it. So trying to do these and build my business up that way to fund that, and then I can fund the facility. Yada yada. So, for example, and when I say make a way, this is my goal for 2018. My goal for 2018 was to quit a 9-to-5 and work for myself.
Right.
Happened.
Congratulations.
Did it. So I'm my own boss of my own company. Though I have a contract to a company, but I'm working for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Get to spend more time with my
your
family. Make my own schedule. Spend more time with my
beautiful
family.
Thing. Absolutely.
You know, be there to put my daughter on the bus, go to her field trip for the first time. You know, all that stuff happened. So the goal for 2019 is to hire 6 people and try to grow 600K. That's 2019.
So you got a good plan.
Oh, I always got plans.
Yeah, I like it.
I always got plans.
Yeah.
Always. I got a million. I'm good at making plans. I'm really good at executing a lot of times, as long as I have the things I need.
How much do you charge for consultations?
Normally, my consultation fee is only $75 an hour.
Okay.
So, and I say that because most of the time I got to drive somewhere, which I don't charge for my getting there. Because if I'm going to consult you, most of the time it's how to fix your facility. Like I do, I build equipment. I help, like, I build studios, help build some studios, like not the pro studios, but so that your facility could be better to operate in, like acoustically and stuff like that, the basics. You know, like I build mic pre's, microphones, like all that kind of stuff, you know, like help how to produce a podcast. I'm doing that. That's why I got hired for at Stars and Stripes.
Yeah.
As a podcast producer.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one for sure.
Yeah, that's just awesome,
man. So I mean, when you get a job making $250,000 for 3 years to produce a podcast, it's not bad.
It's also good money.
Yeah, I mean, I pay the bills.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I had never actually, I did a podcast at NASA, but I didn't actually do it like, because it's all government contracts, you know, it is what it is, you know, and they pay you, they don't give you benefits and all that stuff like you get when you're in the military and stuff like that. So that's why these things, and that's not always guaranteed money, as you know, with the government. So.
Okay. Let's go and wrap this thing up, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, have me back, because I got even more stuff I can talk about one time.
Oh, yeah.
Once you're on the podcast.
This demands a part two.
Exactly. Once you're on the podcast, you always, it's
forever. Invitation is permanent.
Yeah, I know.
It's lifelong, man. Infinite.
One thing, let me drop this.
Okay.
One thing they always say when it comes to our industry is you have to sacrifice family, relationships, and stuff like that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. It's all about managing time. And I do sacrifice certain things, but I'd rather sacrifice things on my behalf than allow my family to sacrifice, you know, time with them. So whether you have to, and regardless, you work that 9 to 5 just so you can work the 4 to 2 or the 6 to 2. Or so that you're able to do that, like, and that's big in the audio realm. You know, you work your 9 to 5 so you can afford to be the audio engineer, producer, whatever, from 6 at night to 2 in the morning. Then you get up and do it again, rinse and repeat. It's all about hard work, motivation, but never sacrifice family. Period.
Like it.
Absolutely agree.
Like hands down. That's anybody that knows me and talks to me and anything about this stuff will know. They like, I'm a family person, regardless. Like I'll be like, oh, I can't do that session because I got this with my family. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing you always gotta make sure you do. So
yeah, family, man, backbone, everything we are.
Always.
Hey, real quick, speaking of family, you 8 years anniversary?
Yep. 8
Yeah,
years.
we recently had it.
Congrats,
Yeah, congrats on it, man.
8 years. We've been together 9, but we've been married for 8.
Yeah, me and my wife, we will be together about 8 years this year.
And then after I leave this, I gotta rush home so that I can take him to the monster truck stuff
Damn.
today. So
You're right.
Yeah.
All right, we're all sharing the same celebration right now.
Yep.
Is what we're realizing.
Around the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
So
But,
that's cool.
next time I can talk more about audio and stuff like that. But it's, I don't know. I haven't necessarily had the forum. Like I wouldn't do this. I should be doing it. But normally when I go live and do all that stuff, it's like, here's tutorials. Here's how to do this. Here's how to record. Let's do this. You know, trying to give out information that's helping people
Right.
progress.
No,
you know?
we're about the organic shit,
So,
man.
Yeah, you sit here,
This shit
just
was
talk
beautiful,
yours.
man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all letting me come on.
No, we appreciate you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, that's it. Episode 35. Des.
35.
Yo.
CEO making all ENT.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Making all known ENT. I want to make sure I respect the name.
Making all no entertainment.
I love it.
Hence, make music.
Keon, that was dope too.
That's real good, man.
I know, right?
Good for
Yeah.
you, Keon.
All right, Des, Kyra, Nate.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God, I gotta pee.
Me too, man.
My bad.
No, it's cool, man.